hope they do it with the drum corps. Born ready.
DC wins! They've done it! DC has upset Boston!
Number 12, Alec will tuck one looking for Graham. That's going to hang up to Graham. Sensational catch!
Open man diving! He's got it! He's got it! How do you like that?
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Sweeney Field here on the campus of St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. These two teams, Boston Whitecaps and the Philadelphia Spinners, met a week ago. Game time delayed by thunder and lightning. Did not disrupt the Boston Whitecaps. They came out on fire with a gigantic win. Don Boyle, Tony Leonardo alongside for the call of this one. Philadelphia fully manned here today. The Whitecaps coming in undermanned.
Yeah, well, that's been the story all season with these home and away games here. Boston having difficulty on the road. 0-2 on the road, as are most of the teams in the East finding trouble playing away from their home base, and that gives the advantage certainly to Philadelphia despite their 1-4 record.
As you take a look at the Boston Whitecaps 3-2 record, they're trying to keep pace with the DC Current playing terrific ultimate at 5-1 in the East.
Well, DC just back-to-back crushed New York, which was kind of I don't know how to put it really, but embarrassing for New York and very impressive for DC. A couple of big 10-point plus wins right there.
First time the Spinners playing here at St. Joseph's University at Sweeney Field. Great atmosphere today for the game. Overcast, guys. Game time temperature at about 64 degrees. Light breeze at about 8 miles per hour.
Well, we got a little bit of everything out here. You see the Spinners, the cheerleaders. We've got the Mad Beats drumline crew. We'll see over to your left. We've got DJs. We've got the Dizzy Fanatic. He's like the Philly Fanatic out here. He's like the mascot. We'll get to see him back over there. He is, Don. See him in the blue with the goo. This is really important to me. I love this stuff.
You do love that stuff. And you can point it out all you want. Can you feed him?
Can you feed him? Oh, yeah. He'll be entertained. I don't know if he has a gum there to jam something into his gum, but I'm sure you can find a way. He's a dog after all.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll set things up for you right here on MLU Live.
Number 11, Matt.
Chris Mazer and the Rumble look to continue their playoff push with a win against Boston. But Jeff Graham and the Whitecaps won't give up easily as they try and avenge their Week 4 loss. May 24th at 7 p.m. Come out and bring the family when Mark Burton leads his Stags across the border to take on longtime rival Morgan Hibbert and the Nighthawks. Portland at Vancouver, May 24th, 7 p.m.
Back here at Sweeney Field, certainly keys to every game. Philadelphia looking for a win here today. We know they need to take care of the disc. But on the flip side for the Boston Whitecaps, a 9-2 score in the second quarter to run away with last week's game. But they're undermanned, as we mentioned, some of their keys.
Well, here's the key. Philadelphia can't let Boston do that again. They got to keep it clean. That second quarter, Billy Maroon, coach, we'll talk to him in a bit here, told me that in the span on that second quarter, they made 6 turnovers, and they made 10 the rest of the game in the span of 4 minutes, just in that second quarter. Got to keep it clean. Deviney had a great game. We're going to pause here and listen to the national anthem. We'll come back to this.
Here at St. Joseph's University at Sweeney Field, Don Boyle, Tony Leonardo alongside. Philadelphia needs to play a clean game. Some of their keys. Boston obviously a little bit undermanned. Let's take a look at the keys for Philadelphia.
Well, keep it clean. They had 6 turnovers in a span of 4 minutes in the second quarter against Boston. That killed them last week, and that's what put them in a big hole. They got to keep away from having a mass rash like that of turnover. Find Deviney. Patrick Deviney was big for them last week. I'm worried about this. If Boston keys in on him, it might be tricky to find him. Home crowd, they're big here today. A lot of people out, a lot of tailgaters. Got an exciting drumline crew out here. Use it to your advantage. Get that crowd on your side.
See the officials down below. How will they officiate this game? We've seen some very interesting officiated games, I guess, from the standpoint of stall counts.
Well, Coach Rosenthal from Boston was telling me that he was concerned about the away refs and sometimes how maybe they didn't get enough practice in as referees. And this is what a head coach is supposed to do, right? They're going to say, listen, these refs need to be on their game. We're putting a lot of time in. We're putting the effort. Why aren't they? I think they're much cleaner than what we saw a couple weeks ago when Boston lost on the road to New York, but still perhaps a concern for Boston if the referees don't go their way, so to speak.
We continue to talk about the Whitecaps and what they did in the first half last week. When their Ds forced those turnovers, they scored 75% of the time. In the second half, they came up empty, and that's where they're shorthanded today on the D side.
Well, they're missing Leon Chow, so that's a good point. Boston, if they figure stuff out at halftime, they're going to exploit it. So if you're getting Ds in the first half and Boston sees where they're coming from, they're going to change up their game. Because why? They're versatile. Boston has got 4 or 5 guys. These guys can go in, they can go out, they can throw goals, catch goals. Unlike any other team in the league, the diversity is what defines this Boston team and why they're so successful.
When you talk about Boston, you always think of Jeff Graham in a bit of a different role here in 2014, nursing that injury, not sending him downfield as much. He's become more of a setup guy.
Yeah, well, he doesn't seem to mind that at all. He's got the big up fake. We love seeing this big forehand up fake. And we saw him sky Hunsaker 2 weeks ago. He's going to go deep. He's going to get his goals, and he's happy to go under and happy to throw them too. And that's the type of player you want on your team, guy who can do it all.
Trey Katzenbach back in the lineup, was not there in Boston last week. He's a huge difference maker for the Spinners, along with Ben Sheridan. What's this mean for the Spinners here today?
Well, Billy likes Coach Maroon really gives a lot of credit. Trey Katzenbach coming in at the ripe age of 43, just a few years older than me, and I'm still probably not as good as that guy ever. And he scored 6 goals against D.C. last week, kept them in the game, kept them alive with him. He's going to be big for them. Number 25, so look for Katzenbach. Sheridan, also a big player returning, wasn't around last week for the loss of D.C. So look for those 2 guys to make a difference here at home against the Whitecaps.
We're going to go down to the field in just a moment. Speaking of the Philadelphia Spinners, head coach Bill Maroon is down below with our own Charisma McElwain, and we're going to send it down now to Charisma. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. It's a beautiful day, perfect day for a game, wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely.
As you said, I'm here with Coach Bill Maroon of the Philadelphia Spinners. Now, the beginning of the season started out a little rocky, but you're by no means, you're still in the running. Today's a very important game. Kind of tell us what you did to prepare.
So today's pretty much a playoff game for us. We had practice Wednesday night. We talked about some of the mistakes we made in the first matchup. We talked about staying mentally strong when things don't go our way. And a number of our turnovers happened on the sideline. They trapped us on the sideline, and we couldn't get it off the sideline. And we practiced getting it off the sideline this week.
Okay, great. And who can we look forward to really stand out today? Who are your key players that you're looking to bring home a W for us?
Well, I'm looking forward to having Trey back. He wasn't there last week. And I think it's going to be interesting in how we play Josh Cricket, and we're going to put Gabe Colton on him. And he looked to be the best matchup for us last week when looking at the game film.
Oh, I'm wishing you guys the best of luck.
Thank you.
I'll send it back up to you guys. Thanks so much.
All right, Charisma, great work down below. It's nice to have you back in action here on MLU Live as we continue with our pregame coverage. Interesting comments from Billy Maroon. He gets what it's all about. It's a must-win situation for the Spinners.
It is. It's a must-win game. If they're 1-4, but they're right in this. If Boston loses, they're down to 3-3, and Philly at 2-4. So yeah, they're right there. Is it a must-win game to make the playoffs? Basically, yeah. This is a home game. You're not going to get as many more of these left. It's mid-season. It's do or die. You lose this game, you're buried. So he's right on. He's right on the money with that.
Well, we're only a few minutes away from the start of this one on MLU Live. The Philadelphia Spinners hosting the Boston Whitecaps. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more pregame coverage in the opening poll to get it all going right here from St. Joseph's University.
Chris Mazer and the Rumble look to continue their playoff push with a win against Boston. But Jeff Graham and the Whitecaps won't give up easily as they try and avenge their Week 4 loss. May 24th at 7 p.m. Come out and bring the family when Mark Burton leads his Stags across the border to take on longtime rival Morgan Hibbert and the Nighthawks. Portland at Vancouver, May 24th, 7 p.m.
Right back here at Sweeney Field, both clubs making their way on to this beautiful turf facility at Sweeney Field on the campus of St. Joseph's University. Whitecaps in their blue uniforms today. They screwed me up last week by wearing white. I really liked them. Philadelphia Spinners in white tops here today with a little blue trim across the front of their jersey, their sharp-looking uniforms. And in question, we've been talking about Ben Sheridan, and is he going to play or not? He might be a late scratch out of this
Ben
one.
Sheridan out of Franklin and Marshall University, number 32, 5'11". Key for this guy's, he might not be here. It's supposed to be a pretty key member, but with a knee injury, we may not see him today.
Good look at the Whitecap sideline as they prepare, and of course the fabulous Jeff Graham, and he's anxious to get into the lineup for the Whitecaps here today. First pull will go from right to left, and the Whitecaps will have the first offensive possession here to get it going.
Well, here's Philly on D. Alex Peters with the disc there. Art Scholl, number 16. Gabe Colt, number 2. In the center of your screen, that's the guy they're going to be focusing on to get to Marquette, number 1 on the Whitecaps. Key player for them. Matt Esser, number 11. We've been talking about him all season. Next to him is Mike Panna, number 21. This is a pretty good D line up here, and they're going to need all they got.
They need to stop Boston from scoring easily like they did back in the second quarter a week ago, and it really starts with the opening pull and a good defensive set out there by the Spinners today. So we're just about set to get it going on overcast skies up above, 64 degrees, light wind, should not affect the flight of the disc at all here today. And this MLU game is underway, a pivotal matchup in the Eastern Division, and the Spinners, Taylor, will play it immediately to the middle of the field.
Well, some new faces already out here on the Boston line.
Remember, they're playing a bit undermanned. Right now going with a shorter attack. That's Colton on the defense on Marquette. Coach Maroon mentioned that would be a matchup we'll see throughout the afternoon.
There's Brower Jarish there on the O-line.
And it's flicked downfield, and it's going to be caught on the run by, he did it, Marquette. He beat his man, Colton, for the score and a beautiful feed.
Well, it looks like Alex Cooper, normally playing on the D-line there, gets that assist as they've already opened up the rotations right to begin with here for the Whitecaps. As 3 D players we saw on the O-line there. And nice and easy, bam, 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 score. There's Cooper right in the flow. Colton with, just over the top in the layout. Good bid from Colton there, but just not enough.
Yeah, great effort. Now we'll see a pull by the Whitecaps from right to left. So they jump out on top early on here. You know, being on demand a bit, are they thinking all offense today and a whole slew of points?
Well, here's the deal. I mean, Boston traditionally and the long history of the amateur club scene in that city has relied for the last 20 years on offense. They've preached offense. Offense will win you games. If you don't turn over the disc, you will not lose. So why not put all your eggs in that basket? I can see where they're coming from in there by already getting their D-line guys out on that O-line and making it look easy.
That's a short pull. It's going to roll around the field. It will settle on the Spinners' half, so they'll work with their short field. Hairnet will pick it up. And Nicky, a terrific player, and they quickly come out and they double-team him, showing some aggressiveness on the defensive side.
Well, this is a zone, and this is exactly about this offense thing. You don't want to tire out an undermanned squad, so you play a zone so your guys don't get too tired.
Katzen back out on the O-line. He controls the middle of the field now. Quickly moved ahead. That's Brandolph. Back to Hairnet. Brandolph again, and he'll toss it in for the score. And nice work. On the receiving end is Davini, and he's certainly having a big season over the last couple of weeks. He has been instrumental.
Well, tactical game right now so far. It's only 1-1, but we've seen a lot of strategy. Rebels there on the D-line, number 4 for Boston. That's a bit of a surprise. So Coach Rosenthal has mixed up the lines, comes down showing zone, kind of crumbles a little bit, but completely ineffective. But you know what, Don? They don't mind. Boston is not going to mind if you score against them. Here's the quick shot here. Brandolph finds his man and gets the easy score there with the backhand into Davini, cutting across the field. Nice cut, nice setup. Good delivery right in the flow.
They worked it quickly and efficiently, something the Spinners have had problems with over the last couple of weeks.
Well, I think they look good early. It's just a matter, can they not have those 3-4 turnover points in a row where the D-line scores for Boston? The question I want to know is, can Boston's D-line score? They don't have the guns out there. So, as the game progresses, those will be some of the issues we'll take a look at.
See the young man out of Harvard, Jeremy Nixon, wears number 9 for the Whitecaps. He's on the field, and they may stretch the field with his speed and his ability to get open and sky for catches.
Nixon recently was listed as one of the top 7 players in the nation on Sky Magazine for the collegiate season there at Harvard. He'll be going to nationals, the national championships collegiate next weekend. So big player for them to have out there, young
Malachek to get it started here for the Whitecaps. They work it to the near side. Cooper with an assist already in the contest. That's Pana on his defensive end, guarding him. Malachek now will play it back into the middle of the field, and the Whitecaps using a short game. That's Cricket. Marquette, he's already got a goal.
Big bid from Pana there, just a little bit short.
Cooper made a nice catch. Pana trying to hold very tight to Cooper. Now it's up to Malachek. Fakes a backhand throw into the end zone. Now just lob it out left side, and this is Farnsworth to control. Farnsworth, a big physical player, and they force it back to Taylor on the dump.
Nice little swing around. Peters here giving Malachek a lot of space, and Malachek might make him pay, and he does with the bam, quick Brower Jarris to Nixon for the goal.
Yeah, Nixon got wide open there behind the D, and Boston now with 2 offensive touches, 2 scores, and they lead it by the score 2-1 with 8:45 remaining here in the opening quarter of play.
Well, here's something Coach Rosenthal told me. I was like, how do you guys, when you decide when to run it up the line and when you decide when to switch the field direction? He said, well, you know what? I tell you what, I wish we switched field direction more often. And right there you saw it. They were on the far left side across your vision here. And they brought it all the way back to the near side like that. Bam, bam, bam. Quick score. It works.
So they have the 2-1 lead. As we take a look at the Whitecaps, the pull will travel from right to left. And look at the Spinners, and is Nicky Hairnet. He's one of my favorite players. Always got a smile on his face.
Hairnet and Brandoff next to each other. They look like brothers or something. And Glazer next to him there on his left. Deviney right there next to him. Good numbers on the front of the shorts.
It's good to see Glazer back in the lineup. He had suffered an early season injury there, was out for quite some time, and actually had a fine game last week in that loss to Boston. This is Hairnet going all the way downfield. Deviney, can he get it? And he will make the catch. Right there, Hatchett saying he was blocked from his path to play defense, but great play by Deviney.
That's a great box out. There's no complaint there. He did the right thing. I don't think he went into Hatchett at all. Hatchett just trying to get up there and make a play. That's what he should do. I'd like to see Hairnet put that bomb. That's a good position for him. Like, Deviney's holding him space pretty well. Oh, he does get an arm bar out there. Ooh, Hatchett might have a complaint there. Kind of arm barred him a little bit.
He did. Took him off his path defensively. The officials didn't see it, so we're tied at 2.
Well, nice to see this misdirection here. They started on the far side of the field, brought it back to Hairnet on an ISO here, and that set up the deep cup long. So that was a play call right from the start there, and that's good to see a nice play set call go off as called.
This opening quarter, all about offense. We haven't had a break yet. Both teams with 2 touches and 2 scores as the Spinners and their cheerleading squad down below enjoying the action. There's your pull. David Bear on the pull.
I think Bear's moved to the – no, was he on the D-line? Has he always been on the D-line?
He's a versatile player. I think he's been on both sides.
Is that Braz down there? Fricka?
Marquette in the middle. We'll lay it out low to Nixon. Use that speed and athleticism to make the catch of it. This is Zid. Zid a big-time player, too. Boy, they are packed with outstanding players, and they're going to go long down the field. It's going to hang. Malachek, can he get there? Did he have room? He's in for the score.
Well, you got to like that setup there. And now we see Eric Redshirt Stevens. He didn't play one of his years in college there, and that's where he got his nickname, Redshirt. Kind of a practice player. He played with the team last year. We haven't seen a lot of him, but feels free to gun it down the field. So watch Stevens right here, right in the flow, gets the disc, jacks it right to wide open Malachek. He's got the space and the wheels on Bear.
So Boston on top 3-2. A game of offense here in the opening quarter. Well, you got perfect conditions to play today. Not too hot, overcast skies, blocks the sun, of course, and, wind at about 8 miles per hour. Some good music. And, great music. Beautiful campus here in Philadelphia at St. Joseph's University.
So offense is the name of the game here. Damiano we see on the field. Rainwater, Brandoff, Hairnet, Katzenbach, Glazer. Let's see if they can hold serve here.
Katzenbach will get a touch. Trey will play it up ahead. Brandoff the control. And he comes back to Trey to the near side, Katzenbach. 43 years old, still going strong. One of the top scorers for the Spinners. Damiano out of the sideline, Rainwater. Rainwater's going to send one downfield. Deviney beats everybody. That was Graham on the coverage. Stops shy of the end zone. He's looking, and he'll feed it in for the score. And the Spinners, they make it look easy to knot things back up. On the receiving end was Damiano for his first tally of the day.
Well, what a night! Listen, here's the matchup we're looking at here. Jack Hatchett, one of the top defenders in the league, top defenders traditionally in club. Number 27, there's Hatchett, the Hatchet man there. He's got the job to try to get Deviney, but Deviney's gotten the best of him twice so far.
Yes, I did misread the 21 and the 27 going, what is Graham doing out there? Where
is Graham? Yeah. Have we seen him yet?
I don't know if we've
disguised?
seen him. That's a good question. So the tricky 7 on the back of the jersey for Jack Hatchett.
I see Graham down here on the sidelines. I think he is on the D line, and which is all. Wow, they've really mixed up their lines. This is an interesting game here. Cooper against Stevens, guys we're not traditionally seeing on the O-line to start. Nixon, Farnsworth, Marquette, and Taylor right there. It looks like Malachek will receive.
So we're knotted up at 3 as the offense continues for both squads. Playing very clean offense. Malachek with a fake of a huck downfield. Comes to Taylor with a short pass. Taylor guarded tightly there by Peters. That was a long stall count. Now it's up to Malachek off the feed. Malachek's going to go deep downfield looking for Nixon. He's behind Lindsay. It's going to hang. Lindsay with a height advantage. Can't make the play. Nixon does.
Patrick Lindsay goes up, times it, tries to get to the spot there, and just can't quite get to it. Nixon's best play there is to do exactly what he did, which is read the disc and go to the spot there. Lindsay made a great effort there, but just enough of a hang of that pulsar over his body by Malachek. Look at the touch on this throw here. Davini has a chance, but how do you read that exactly? Oh, man, just missed it with the claw there.
Interesting. Davini had the friction catch of the week last week, or was that Lindsay? That was Lindsay who had that. Patrick Lindsay with a fabulous catch. I don't know if you saw the highlight of that one from last week's action. In a crowd.
Lindsay just happy that the Pacers advanced, an Indianapolis native.
That's right.
Yeah,
they play game 1 right today against.
They
the
do.
Heat.
They soon 3:30, I believe. So all offense all the time right now, as neither team has called a timeout, neither team has made a turnover, and 7 minutes still left to go here in the first.
This is Hairnet. Quickly guarded there by Ingold Smith.
Davini's really creating space downfield there, and they have to respect that.
Trey Katz back in the middle of the field. Graham on him defensively. That's an interesting matchup. 2 KG veterans going chin to chin.
That's where he's at. Yeah, that is an interesting matchup.
Get the call against the Whitecaps. Hairnet's going to get 10 yards. Nick to put it in play. You see Nick at on those MLU commercials making those throws with tremendous technique. Bear with a layout catch.
With the left.
Nicky Hairnet looks down the field, goes back in the Bear.
Well, they're getting bogged down a little bit here.
Quickly out to Esser. Esser's a guy to watch today. Glazer with a touch. Katzen back. Boston turning it up a notch defensively here. This is Rainwater. Looks in, and he'll feather it in for the score on the receiving end. Matthew Esser.
Does a couple flips there in the end zone. Matt Esser is showing off some skills there on the backflip. Not the only one in the league. Terry Roth, of course, who was actually another missing player for the Whitecaps. But you know what? This is smart by Philadelphia here. They're going to get the space. Look at this patience here. Look at this grab from Bear. That was beautiful. Has to dig it off the turf there. And Rainwater feathers it into the end zone, just as you called it there, Don. But the thing I noticed about this offensive possession is they took their time. The space was there. They got clogged up. It was a little bogged. It was in the middle of the field. The deep looks weren't there, but they didn't try to force it. They really just kind of took what was given to them. And they know that Boston's shorthanded, so they know that Boston's not going to get any run through Ds unless there's something magical happens out here.
So again, we're tied at 4. The offensive star thus far for Boston might be Nixon with 2 goals already. Let's see if they put a little more pressure on him. Malachek. Looks like Boston advancing a little more quickly than the last time they had possession. This is Nixon in control. They trap him nicely there, and he finds his outlet.
3-person cup zone from Philadelphia.
Boy, that pass nearly stolen away by Marshall Ward. Malachek. Forehand. Flicks it downfield, waiting for it, making the catch, and then it's in for the score, the Farnsworth, after the beautiful feed by Eric Stevens.
Well, that was interesting. Very effective zone. I like it. And what does it take to bust the zone? Brandon Malachek. This 2-time national championship winner just knows his spots. He just knows how to find him. And Stevens, again, in the flow. He gets the disc and puts it up. So, they've been Rosenthal has really hammered home on these guys. If you see the look, put it. And that's what they're doing.
That time they kept Nixon close to the disc, and they send Farnsworth down the field, and he is the goal maker.
Well, I think the zone caught him off by surprise, that's for sure. Both teams now have tried the zone to some success. At least it gets in your head a little bit, so your offense isn't going to be so quick to throw. You hope. But so far the zone hasn't produced any turnovers.
Both teams basically scoring at will here in the opening quarter, making it a long quarter of play. A lot of whistles, the result of all the goals. Randolph, the hairnet, back to Randolph. They're trapped now towards their own goal line as that defensive pressure now by the Whitecaps. Rainwater in the middle of the field.
This is again where they need to show patience.
McClellan back over to Randolph. Kind of a tough catch, that edge back towards his shoulder.
They've got Jack Hatchett on Katzenbach now.
Hairnet, Randolph. Simmons on him defensively. Randolph twisting. Time was ticking down on him there. Catching back. Glazer to control it in the middle of the field. He throws it up, and it's going to be intercepted as it floated over the head of Hairnet. And the turnover, that's a Rebholz on the play.
Well, Hairnet looking for a call there and got himself turned around, and now here's the goal shot for the Whitecaps, and they will score.
Simmons able to feather it in, and I believe it was Hatchett on the receiving end, and the Whitecaps will open up a 2-goal lead.
Wow, well, that's interesting there. They were trying to be patient, and the count got up a little high in Glazer, I feel. Hairnet got tangled up there as a defender was trying to rush to get to Glazer on the D, and Hairnet gets spun around, looks for a call, doesn't get it, but the disc comes up to him, a little bit high floaty, and it's a turnover, and right away the Whitecaps go up on top with the break.
Simmons with the interception, then the feed to Hatchett. And now a 6-4 lead. Some of the fans look quite concerned in the stands right now, rooting for the Philadelphia Spinners. It's early, folks. Don't worry.
Yeah, plenty of game to go. But those early breaks set the tone for the rest of the game. I mean, you just feel like you're climbing out of a hole all game. So, that's where the concern lies. And so far, their offense has been tough to crack for Boston.
5 minutes and 25 seconds of play time and only one break thus far here in the opening quarter.
Well, now Philly's going to have to hold. This is key and ultimate, is holding serve on your O-line. You make a mistake once, don't let it happen again. This one's going to hang. This is trouble.
And it's going to be intercepted by Taylor. Had the height advantage over Panna. So that wind may have influenced the flight of that disc. Is Cooper now. Marquette into Nixon for the score. And, boy, the Whitecaps on a 3-goal run.
Well, just a floaty throw there. Panna maybe set up his cut a little too far away. Billy Maroon's going to call a quick timeout here. He doesn't want to see this get any worse. Doesn't want to see this snowball. That's 2 turns quickly in a row. So timeout from Philadelphia.
Good look at Jeremy Nixon. He has scored 3 times, leading the way for the Whitecaps. We'll take a quick break. There's a steal by Taylor. We'll finish it with this nice feed by Marquette in for the score. We'll pause. Back with more after this.
Chris Mazur and the Rumble look to continue their playoff push with a win against Boston. But Jeff Graham and the Whitecaps won't give up easily as they try and avenge their Week 4 loss. May 24th at 7 p.m. Come out and bring the family when Mark Burton leads his Stags across the border to take on longtime rival Morgan Hibbert and the Nighthawks. Portland at Vancouver, May 24th, 7 p.m.
Welcome back to MLU Live, an Eastern Division matchup in the MLU between the Philadelphia Spinners and the Boston Whitecaps. The standings in the East, DC at 5-1, Whitecaps from Boston at 3-2, New York Rumble at 2-4, and the Spinners at 1 win, 4 losses. Their only victory in the back end of a weekend series with the Rumble. We had that game too on MLU Live.
Double overtime? Was that single overtime?
Yeah, that was a double overtime.
Mixed up.
That's right.
Let's look at the predictions. Don, we have John Phillips called Boston by 3. Brian Flaherty said Boston by 5. Greg in the booth over here called Philly by 1. MLU Unicorn, whoever that guy is, called Philly by 2. And Paul DeMarais, Philly by 3. So kind of even on that one. And, we'll see what it ends up at the end there.
Spinners started last year off on a strong note and kind of faltered down the stretch. It's kind of continued here in the 2014, and they're trying to right the ship under head coach Billy Maroon. This is Hairnet now. They need a great possession and a score. This is Rainwater fakes a hammer, and he's going to be forced to maybe eat the disc here with Farnsworth on him, and smartly and alertly coming on back to it was Esser. He took his time getting there, too, didn't
he? I mean, the first look, they had Deviney downfield, Nixon on him. And Deviney had the spot, but they just couldn't find him.
Deviney for Glazer. Can he get to it? No, it's going to carry out of play. The wind just accelerated the disc and the flight out of play, and they turn it back to Boston.
You know, Broward Jarris there on defense just let him go, just let Glazer go. And I don't know if that was by design or not. Not a bad look there from Deviney, but I think Boston would be perfectly happy with Deviney trying to throw goals rather than catching because he's proven himself as a receiver.
We were talking during the last commercial break, and I made the comment to you, look out, Boston on a run right now. And you said, wait a second, they're on demand. Their legs are going to get weary. Will they take off some points and play the scoreboard a little bit as it moves along? Just that thought.
Yes. Yeah, they will. They'll slow the game down if they have to. And there's a great example of weariness. When you make an overthrow like that, you're a little bit tired. That throw popped up the head over Stevens, and that's just a sign of tiredness.
Matthew Esser on the receiving end as they take advantage of the turnover. First one by Boston today.
Yeah, and Philly makes them pay. Fast break. This is what Billy Maroon wanted to do if they do get the turn, which we finally get to see, is fast break. So each one of those passes you saw, and there's mad beats. These guys, I love any drum line. I'm not going to lie.
How do they eat?
You don't need to eat when you got beats. That's what I played. I played the tri-toms and the quads when I was in high school.
Really? Did you?
Oh, yeah. They're as fun as you can imagine. It doesn't matter. When you play in the quads or the tri, you can have a missed note, and it doesn't matter. It still sounds good.
That's why you were there.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you in one of those masks, too, Tony.
I'd be pretty frightening because I'm very tall.
You would be the tallest one down there, that's for sure. All right, the Whitecaps, how do they respond to their last turnover? They're going to send it down for Graham. He's on the run. Can he get to it? He does. And it's off. And great defense on the far side. That is the defensive play of the day as Braz comes up with a magnificent effort. That's hustle.
Well, they call him Fricka, but let's see what there's a call here. Did the offensive player get the disc first? The refs are talking about this now. Boy, it sure looked clean. There's some talk there. Farnsworth says he has it. They're calling it a goal.
Wow. I don't know.
Whoa.
You should be rewarded for that great defensive effort. I don't know. Graham on the receiving end. He may have influenced that. Number 21 may have influenced things down there, Tony.
Well, that was could have been a game changer there. Still early. I liked it. It's lost and all that was the great setup they had there. Rebholz goes. Both players go from the D line to the O line now as they're throwing everyone all over the place. Boston has an open rotation. That much is clear. So Rebholz, who's got the big cannon out there, busts one down to Graham, who sets his cut up really nicely. Graham flips into the end zone to Farnsworth, and off man, Frederick Gracie tries to make that play, and it looks like Farnsworth had it in his grasp as Fricka hit the disc.
I don't know if we can see that replay again when we get a chance, because that was an interesting play. We were talking about the officials and what influence would they have on the game, and I'd like to get your opinion after another look on that goal a moment ago by Graham.
He was right there. The official was on that corner. We're looking at the other side, but he was on the proper side of it. So if anyone's going to make the right call, it's going to be that man.
So Boston on top 8-5. Brandoff in the middle of the field to Hairnet. Boy, it looked like a great defensive play by Braz. It ends up as a point on the wall for the Whitecaps. One thing Philadelphia cannot do is get discouraged after a great effort like that. Glazer's going to send it downfield. Esser behind the D will make the catch, and he's in for the score. Great footwork and the point.
The galloping Esser from Millersville. Beautiful play there. Really finds his way into the end zone there. Glazer, no hesitation, puts a beautiful touch on that disc, sails it in nicely. Look at this touch here. Over the head of Teddy Broward. He can do nothing. Esser just has to gallop it in, and he does.
Third goal for Esser here today.
Third already. So it's Esser versus Nixon, two of the young guns here. Esser, just a few years out of college. Nixon, as we just discussed, one of the players in the nation, top players in the nation, still at Harvard there.
14 goals. We still have 2 minutes and 13 seconds remaining here in the opening quarter.
Is the clock running properly, Don? I think they just keep adding time for each goal scored. Maybe they're like, add 10 seconds for a goal score. That'd be a clever new rule.
That would be interesting. Maybe do that for the losing team in the fourth quarter if you want to give them a chance to get back into a game. Something like that. I'm still looking for like an onside disc or something. Onside kick.
Yeah, you need some variations like that. Would be fun.
This is Graham. Fakes a huck down the field. Have not seen a lot of long throws here today. We've had a few, obviously, but Foster will play it on back. Jeff Graham and Goldsmith to guard him will come to the near side.
Well, they're playing smart. Here's one. That should be a goal.
Hackett will send it down and in for the score. It was in beautifully to Hirschberger, and John made the catch.
Well, everyone's getting in on the action here for Boston here. And that's what you need to do with the short rotation. Get everybody involved. Hatchett there, the big defender for the Boston Whitecaps. Hirschberger, another big D player, scores on the reception.
They really probably relish the opportunity to play a different position, take a different mindset, and have some fun with it all.
Well, a lot of people tell you they play ultimate because you get to play every position. You have to be the all-time quarterback, just like you're playing, football in the backyard with your buddies. You're going to throw the pass, you're going to catch the pass, you're going to run the ball. You have to do everything, and it's true. Now, as the game progresses and you end up playing in the pros here, you end up playing at the top elite levels, your skills get narrowed as to how good you can be on and where you need to be. So everybody can do everything, but it's, the best players do it best at their best positions.
Under ideal offensive conditions, we're seeing these two teams put up a whole slew of points here in the opening quarter. Now it's Philadelphia's chance. Brandolph's had a clean game thus far. Up to Glazer.
Well, we're not seeing the time down on here, but there's about a minute and so left here, so plenty of time for them to score. The question is, do they want to leave time on the clock?
Here with a little shoulder fake to open up a passing lane. Brandolph hustling to the Glazer pass, and he'll huck it down for Rainwater. Farnsworth, can he get there? Rainwater. Nice play to cut in front of Farnsworth and hold on. Back to Katzenbach and in to Nicky Hennett for the score.
Well, huge play from Rainwater. Sees that the pass is just a little bit short, but I like it from Brandolph. I like that he had the guts to put that up there. Rainwater, trust your receiver. Farnsworth, good defender on there, but Rainwater goes up big with both hands, grabs it, dumps it back quickly to Katzenbach, who punches in for the score.
Good hustle there by the Spinners. Playing with some emotion, some urgency today, which is great to see.
Yeah. And you know what? They've got a consistent line out here. So two different strategies here. Every Philadelphia O-line has been the same group of guys you've seen out there. Brandolph, Haranet, Katzenbach, Glazer, Rainwater. And Boston is every time out there is a different line. Now we got Rebholes out there again. Foster, Graham, Rusty Ingold-Smith, one of the defenders, is now on the O-line. There's Rainwater going up quick.
He really made a nice cut there, didn't he, to ward off Farnsworth defensive opportunity.
Well,
That's a
it's
big guy.
Rainwater had that cut earlier, and Glazer didn't want to put it, so he moved it upfield another 10 yards to Brandolph to center it, and Brandolph put it. So they're lucky in a sense because sometimes a defender can read that and get to it.
Now the Spinners, can they come up with a break? Each team has turned it over just once here in the opening quarter. Offensive have taken the offensive have been they've been the dominating force, I guess.
9-7 is your score. There it is. 1 minute left. Zone from Philly to try to slow down Boston.
Well, it's a long stall right there. Rebholes. And we'll get a whistle. And it's going to go against the Spinners. And
it's like a marking foul on number 10.
And Goldsmith trying to play it aggressively. A little double team. Panda trying to help him out there.
Casey out there. Now they're crumbling to man.
Rebels had a great game last week in the victory over the Spinners. And Goldsmith, where they move it quickly sometimes, and that's in for the score. Graham on the cut, and that was just an easy feathery pass there by Hirschberger for the goal.
Well, it looks like Philadelphia got turned around there after the foul call. They got to remember to keep playing through the whistle. I mean, once that disc moves up 10 yards, everyone's still moving around. You can't get lax out there, and Boston's smart enough to check it in and go. They take advantage of that and score quite easily.
So 10-7 your score now. Just 30 seconds remaining in the opening quarter of play, Tony.
It's a pretty high-scoring quarter, 17 points.
Yeah, is it going as expected? As you drove down here today, what were you thinking about?
Well, I mean, look, they're not using their legs, Boston. They've got 10 points, and they haven't had to use their legs too much. So, it's going as well as it can for those guys. And Philly, yeah, they're all right. They're hanging in there. Score here, I think they'll be happy. They'll be all right.
Looking for the upset win over the Boston Whitecaps. The DC Current probably watching today's game with some interest, trying to open up some breathing room in the Eastern Division. Might be secretly
breaking.
Rooting for the Spinners here today. Hairnet's going to huck one downfield. Rainwater, he's got an angle. Can he make the catch? Oh, Farnsworth came over. Made up ground. They're going to call it a score. Well, there you go. It balances out.
Wow, fantastic play by Farnsworth to tip that disc. Amazing. And Rainwater stays with it. Farnsworth, a fantastic play. And Rainwater tracks it down. They're going to look at this. The refs are huddling right now, but I think this is a goal. Farnsworth, hit his body anyway. Yeah, that's a goal.
Oh, he stepped in beautifully, didn't he, inside the line?
Yeah, that should have been a foul and a goal. But Rainwater smart enough to not worry about what the refs call one way or another and just get to that disc.
That's a big body motoring in on you. Rainwater, great concentration, great footwork to make that catch.
Yeah, you saw Farnsworth come swiping across, and maybe Rainwater was afraid of if he kind of went up too big and too high, his momentum could have carried him out of bounds. So he tried to kind of keep his position and end up paying off with that, tracking it down. 10-8 is your score, not 10-7. And we'll find out how much time is left here. It's a little bit clock crazy right now here at Sweeney Field, St. Joseph's University. 6 seconds. 6 seconds left. 10-8. St. Joseph's, Don, your favorite player went here from the Celtics? Okay. Maybe not your
I'm staying away from that one, Tony.
Well, two of the guys I know that are famous for St. Joseph's University when the basketball team went undefeated in the regular season, Jameer Nelson and Delonte West. That's the benchmarks I know for this school here, as the Whitecaps with 5 seconds now to try to punch this one in are going to have to huck it here right now.
And it is sailing towards the end zone. There's plenty of spinners there. It's tipped and finally batted away by Katzenbach. It slipped through the first line of defense, and Katzenbach said, I'm going to just toss that away. So interesting quarter with Boston on top of Philadelphia by the score of 10-8 here at Sweeney Field on the campus of St. Joseph's University. We'll step aside. Back with quarter number 2. You're watching MLU Live.
Chris Mazer and the Rumble look to continue their playoff push with a win against Boston. But Jeff Graham and the Whitecaps won't give up easily as they try and avenge their Week 4 loss. May 24th at 7 p.m. Come out and bring the family when Mark Burton leads his Stags across the border to take on longtime rival Morgan Hibbert and the Nighthawks. Portland at Vancouver, May 24th, 7 p.m.
Good look at the Philadelphia Spinners down, I should say the Boston Whitecaps down below, excuse me, in their blue uniforms, their away uniforms here today. And they have the 2-goal lead. Their largest lead's been 3 here today, Tony.
Well, here's the man that we're interested in. Danny Clark there. You see him to the left of Mike Miller. We're kind of over, so there's Malachek right there. Not in uniform today. Don, one of their big players, both as a receiver and last week as a thrower, 3 assists there. Not in uniform, so a loss for those guys, but they're hanging tough there.
Yeah, banged up his knee there a little bit. Take a look at the Spinners. Trey Katzenbach, certainly good to have him back in the lineup for the Spinners. Did not play last week, and he's been a force out there today as he has pitched a couple of nice passes into the end zone to help lead the Spinners in their cause for victory here at their new home field, the first time they've ever played here at St. Joseph's University. And just a wonderful location with a great atmosphere here today as we get ready for quarter number 2.
Well, I like it because the field isn't lined for American football. It's a traditional soccer field here, so the lines are a little cleaner for ultimate. We can kind of see the field a little bit better, and you can see where the guys are eating up yardage, getting the big green space in the front of them, and really finding those bowling alley cuts in it. Just a nice, sweet, clean field.
So we're getting ready for quarter number 2. As you take a look at Rainwater and Hairnet, Esser, Katzenbach, all coming back onto the field. Glazer also for the Philadelphia Spinners. Randolph.
This is the line we've seen all day so far. We're keeping pretty consistent out here. Although Esser is going both ways, but
that's because he's young.
It's because he's got a mohawk. But it's really been about Brandolph, Katzenbach, and here, and that controlling the disc there. They did put in a line with Bear and Pan on that, resulted in a turnover on the first pass, so Billy's been pretty reluctant to go back to that.
It'll be the Whitecaps on the pull, and the pull by the familiar Teddy Brower-Jarvis.
From Rhode Island University.
Beautiful campus. Near Newport, Rhode Island, a gorgeous community if you've never been there before.
Another zone look here on defense as Stevens is kind of like looking for a spot there, just kind of playing in the center field there on a short center.
Brandolph was lucky to keep that pivot foot down. This is Glazer, back to Brandolph. They work the sideline. They got some trouble last week against Boston along the sideline. Let's see if they can get out of this pickle. Hairnet. Brandolph, that was a rocket right into his chin. Got to be alert.
This is smart by Boston. We got a call here. We have a stall. We have a foul. We have a foul. Looks like on the defense. So Brandolph will walk it up 10 yards.
Malachek guarding Brandolph. Back to Nicky Hairnet. Hairnet with a goal and assist today. Rainwater's had a big game here in the first half. Short little passing attack right now by the Spinners. Not looking long.
That's what you're saying about Boston looking to eat up clock. Oh, nice find there from Rainwater.
Good catch there of that little hammer. That was a mini hammer, wasn't it? This is Glazer control. Rainwater, Glazer, they play some catch. They work a triangle to Hairnet. Up ahead, Rainwater and in for the score. Trey Katzenbach finds an opening along the sideline.
Katzenbach making his presence felt just as Billy Maroon had said he would. Very calming presence out there. You don't throw a zone on a 43-year-old guy who's seen everything in the game. So that worked out pretty effectively for these guys. And two big handlers there, Brandolph and Hairnet, no problem with that. Interesting choice here. They've shown they can handle the zone. There's not a lot of wind. Typically, you play a zone when there's a lot of wind, and it forces you to throw into the wind, which can cause a lot of turnovers and really be a factor, but not a factor here. So really easy possession there for Philadelphia, showing that they can play smart and effective.
Aided by one foul, of course, to kind of open things up for them there a little bit when they were trapped along the near sideline. But they closed to one with Boston receiving the disc on the pull as they'll send it on down. And let's see what the Whitecaps will do. They still have 2 timeouts remaining in the opening half. Philadelphia with 1 remaining. And I would imagine the Whitecaps are saving those timeouts, being on demand for just the right time.
Well, this is curious. Another zone out here. I don't know why. No one's proven that the zone has been effective. And Philly has enough men to just run Boston. So, curious choice here.
Reb Holtz, he'll send one long. Graham behind them all, and he'll make a reaching catch for the score. I think they work on that once in a while.
Well, Reb Holtz, known for his forehand deep shots, that's his second backhand for the connection to Graham. And Graham knows how to find the space in the back there. He's just got quick feet, and when he releases, he's just out of sight. Look how many yards he has on Art Scholl, who's one of the top defenders on Philadelphia there. Makes it look easy.
Second goal for Graham here today, and they're sending him more downfield than they had last week when he did not really stretch the defense all that much.
Donna, I mean, look the numbers for these guys are pretty cool. I mean, the top of the league, the guys have 15 passes, 15 goals, 3 assists, something like that. The top Boston guys are all kind of like mixed in there. They have like 12, 8, 15, 9. I'll get those in a minute.
So here come the Spinners again. They try to advance quickly. Everybody on their toes. Hairnet in the middle, guarded by Taylor. Taylor caused a disruption on the first turnover by the Spinners in the opening quarter. Spinners have played a clean game. Here's that double team. Malachek part of that, and they have to loft it over the top. The Glazer.
Philly all bunched up there. They got lucky there. Nice find from Davini.
That was a mistake they made last week when they had a couple of receivers in the same vicinity. Made it easier for the Boston Whitecap defense. Etzer up ahead, and that's in for the score. And I'll tell you what, right now, Philadelphia, they're hanging with them as Rainwater makes the catch.
Well, as well they should. With this kind of zone defense here and no wind, it is not a problem to score. So they should do this. No hesitation there from Messer. His man's got an open shot. They're giving it to him. Right now, Boston is letting them score, and they're really concentrating on saving their legs and scoring on offense. So that's what it's going to come down to. Will Boston save enough of their legs for the fourth quarter when it starts to get a little hot and intense on the D?
Yeah, the sun starting to shine through those overcast skies right now. Second goal for Rainwater here today. Messer's having himself a fine game. Got 3 goals and assists.
And this is where I want to see Philly start to really kind of put the screws on here. They got the legs, they got the numbers, and they got the youth. And clearly it's obvious what Boston's trying to do here in saving their legs. So Philly should run them, make them work for a goal.
David Baer on a long pole. They're trying to work the length of the field, or at least make the Whitecaps work the length of the field. That was in Goldsmith who made the catch. Rebholz. Graham. Rebholz. Looks downfield, Panner on the defense. That throw is low, and they turn it over. That's Braz. Baer, but Braz, nice catch. Had a reach behind. Michael Panner. This is where the defense did not cash in after a break last week. Can they do it here? Baer, Panner, and he'll lay it up there, and it's going to be caught for the score. They needed it, and they got it. And Philadelphia closing the gap here as they have a big one. Bruin trying to pick up the number. That is Lindsay, number 31 on the receiving end.
Well, Rosenthal's got some fuel for the fire here. A couple big calls don't go his way there. First, Rebholz wanted a foul call when he threw that one into the ground there. Was there body contact? I'm not entirely sure. But I will tell you this. There was a travel not called there on Baer as he took a couple steps there. On offensive travel, that looks clean. I don't see any contact there. No complaint should come from Rebholz on that. But before this play, Baer kind of took a couple steps there. All of Boston goes up in arms like that's a clear travel, which would have been a turnover. No call. Philadelphia gets the score. Lindsay collects it. We got a tie game.
Lindsay, who had that great catch last week, takes the feed from Michael Panner. And as you mentioned, it's all new here in the second quarter of play. Much different second quarter here for Philadelphia this week from a week ago when they were outscored 9-2. They've outscored Boston now 3-1 in the quarter.
Yeah, well, and if this is any trend to come, this is kind of what we were hinting at, which is, they played man defense and they got they ran them under, and let's see if those legs will start to have a factor as this game progresses.
With a quick glance, I believe it's the first 2-goal run by the Spinners here today, but I could be wrong with that. This is Marquette to the middle, now shouts a defense, being encouraged by the public address announcer here at Sweeney Field. Oh, that's going to get off the hands of
Bauer
Jarris, and there you go. They turn it over.
Wow. Well, big opportunity here for Philadelphia.
Looking for a 3-goal run. That's Shaw.
No timeout from Maroon, so he's letting his D-line try to make the score here.
Gabe Colton with a touch. They reverse it back. That's Ward. Working it patiently. That's Lee out there. Shaw to the near sideline. Colton fakes the hammer.
Nice defense from Nixon. Kant's getting up high. He's got to put it.
And nice play by Lee to come back to that. Tumbled down to the turf. Ward, quick outlet left side. And can they get it in? That's Paparone holding it. Smartly coming back to it that time was Damiano.
Back to Boley. Some of the youth here on display.
Oh, that's going to be hand blocked away. How are they going to call it? It was Marquette on the defensive coverage, and they're going to get it back.
Nice play there from Josh Marquette. Clean there. Colton looked like he was trying to fake it, and now it's a timeout for Boston. Timeout Boston here as they will try to get some fresh legs. They look tired just coming back to the line here.
I kind of like the strategy of Philadelphia there. They were taking their time, really making that defense work.
Yeah.
And they did gas them a little bit. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more from Sweeney Field. We got a good one going. The atmosphere. Exciting here today.
It's pretty fun.
It is.
Oh, wait. Are we going to see Dizzy? I see Dizzy right here. I want to see him, run onto the field and try to get a disc, because that's what dogs do. We get a shot at Dizzy? Oh, there he is to your right. See him up in the upper right of your screen there? Oh. He's dancing, trust me.
He's always dancing. He's hugging, too.
He's a mascot.
He is.
That's what they. Wow, look at this.
It looks great, doesn't it?
We're in the wrong. We should be. All right, no, we're definitely in the right place.
I can't dance. So I'm in the right place.
Yeah, exactly.
Whitecaps in possession. Came up with a big D of their own a moment ago. They nearly squandered a lead. Their largest lead has been 3. Marquette. Yep. Plays it on back. Rebholz. Bear on him. Graham. You can see that right knee.
Whoa.
Heavily guarded. Hatchett
Ooh.
makes a nice catch over there on the layout D attempt by Braz.
The cones, folks, are the line, not the orange line.
Up ahead, Rebholz, and there's a big collision going after that one. Boy, lucky if he gets up and he's going to be okay, as that was really a dangerous play.
Jack Casey there came across. Had the line for a second there, but too late to close. Rebholz gets collared.
Went right over the top of Rebholz. So who said this game is not physical from the standpoint of collision?
Yeah, Casey thought he had the line there, and he did for a second, but you got to be smarter than that.
Matt Rebholz coming out of the lineup. Had 5 points last week on the win.
If he's hurt, that's a big blow for Boston. I don't think that was intentional by Casey, but still a dangerous play.
Officials talking about it right now.
Yeah. Alex Cooper has replaced Rebholz right now. Rebholz looks okay. He's walking off. He's talking to his trainer. Seems like he's okay, so we hope for the best for there, and the refs will discuss what this call will be. They're giving him a card. They're giving Casey's getting an armband for a dangerous play there. So he has to wear that. One more of those, he's out for the next game.
Michael Panna putting the armband on him. He knows what that's all about. He got one a couple of weeks ago, did Michael?
He?
Yes, he was not pleased.
I remember he got some last year, too.
So everybody's okay. At least they appear to be, and that's good news. And that's in. Belichick the defense, and he'll make the catch. Alex Peters nearly knocked it away.
He macked it up in the air. Wow, geez, a beautiful way to stick with it is Malachek there, but Peters just kind of feeds it to him there. He tipped the disc. It's called a MAC, M-A-C. It's actually an acronym for mid-air correction. So there, he slaps down at the disc. Doesn't cause it to go enough off of its pattern. It just changes in air its course and just floats right into Malachek for the goal. That could have been a big possession change.
So I'm going to write that one down, Mac, and study that for next week's broadcast.
Yeah. If you tip it at a certain way, you can actually purposely continue the flight in a certain direction. And that's almost what it looked like Peters did there. I call it a MAC drill, a MAC line where you hit the back of the disc there, and it kind of it pops up in the air and continues forward, but has a little feather to it, so you can slow down the disc. And fortunate for Malachek that occurred.
So it puts Boston back on top by one slim goal here in the second quarter of play. It's been a very entertaining game. This is Nicky Hernat. Back to Brandolph. Brandolph has played a clean game. Over to Glazer.
Here's this zone again from Boston, trying to save their legs and hope that Philly will make a mistake. They haven't proven to make any mistakes so far, or many at least.
Back the hairnet had to reach out for that catch. He nearly jinxed him there, Tony.
Yeah.
Randolph with another reaching catch on a low throw. That defense stiffens for the Whitecaps. Katzen back. He'll settle things.
This is exactly what Boston's looking for. Just some shakiness from Philadelphia. May not be used to sort of a possession-oriented offense. But now they've got a little run through the center of the field.
Now that's Trey Katzen back to control it. He's going to have to hurry something here. Make a decision.
Wow.
And he'll curl it around the hairnet. Up ahead.
Boston isn't even moving. There are 5 guys downfield standing.
Vinny the Glazer back to hairnet. Like a conditioning drill right now. Brandoff to control.
It's a mental drill. It's like, listen, there's people standing around in lanes and positions. Can you throw around them?
Rainwater. Brandoff. Hairnet. They're just inching their way up the field, and Brandoff in off the feed from hairnet for the score. That will gas the Whitecaps a little bit.
Well, nice movement there. Take their time. Don't try to force anything. Boston wants you to make a mistake and get a little too greedy, but they don't. They take every pass there was 7-10 yards, no problem. Hairnet feeds it up to Brandoff, who wisely gets into the end zone, doesn't want to spend any more time on it. There's a fly girl's getting fly out here.
Nothing's up at 12. Cheerleaders got a bunch of costumes for today's action.
Is it gingham? Don't they call that gingham? I want to say it's gingham. A lot of gingham tops.
Looks cowboyish to me.
Cowboy? No, those are like plaid
girls.
shirts.
Yeah.
Gingham. We're going with gingham.
Gingham sounds good. Long feed down the field. See, it's a generational gap. That's the problem, Tony.
I think gingham goes back way before either one of us. I think it's like a British thing. Whoa, Malachek will rip one deep.
Marquette, can he get it? Can he hover? No, it's going to be knocked away at the last moment. Gabe Colton, they were expecting Colton to come up with some big defensive plays. He just did.
Well, Marquette had a piece of it. He wanted to get that down, but unable to get it cleanly as Colton was there tracking him the whole time.
This is where Philadelphia needs to cash in when they come up with a big defensive play, not to turn it right back. Braza control. Panna hustling for a pass, and he'll get it. Up into the middle, smartly done. Shaw nods ahead and comes short side, near side. Nice layout catch there by Paparone.
Keep working it, Philly. They're doing it right. This is smart. Brass takes a hit there from unintentional from Foster, but it's all right. He'll get 10 yards on it. This is where Philly's got to keep moving. Take their 10 yards and don't just stand around. Set up your cuts right now.
I like that fashion statement made by number 17, Jim Foster, with those sneakers. Bras, or playing shoes, I might call them.
Cleats, Don?
Cleats. That's
Boots?
the word
Did
I
you play
was looking
soccer?
for. Yeah, exactly.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's going to hang up there. Need to make the catch. Shell does. He's got some length, and he used it there with a mini sky for the score.
Well, nice read there from Lindsay. Pass hangs up a little bit from Colton, but it doesn't matter when you catch the goal.
Was that Lindsay? Okay, I thought it was Shaw, but it was Lindsay.
It might have been Shaw, actually. I could be wrong. But wow, so that's a break. That's a turn. This is Philly's first advantage. This is a long time that they've had a lead. Let's see if Marquette, can he hold on to it? He gets the piece, and Colton and gets there at the same time, and Marquette can't get out of it. Hangs this one up there. You're right, it's Shull, and Shull finds it nicely in the end zone.
That puts Philadelphia on top 13-12, and I really like the tactics they're using right now against this undermanned Boston team, really making them work. It's become an aerobic exercise out there, so to speak.
Well, they're not gunning it because they don't have to, and because they shouldn't be doing that anyway. So this is all pretty good. Esser here with the pull for Philadelphia. Let's see if they can keep it up.
Good to see Seth.
The Reinhardt, right?
Rebholt's out there again, actually, is the guy I was thinking about.
But Reinhardt is out here, number 2. I saw him earlier. I see him walking on the sideline now.
Haven't seen him play yet all that much, though. Rebholtz to control it. Whitecaps down by 1 in Goldsmith. Back to Cooper. Cooper was part of the offense in the opening quarter, had a couple of assists. Let's see if he gets re-involved here in quarter number 2.
Well, Philly's forcing him backwards right now.
Hirschberger with a goal here today. Ingold Smith.
He bit a little bit too much on that to Damiano.
Haven't heard much from Nixon of late. He's got some fresh legs, perhaps. The secret weapon. He's creeping downfield now. Cooper up ahead.
Rebholz can put this.
Rebholz will. Looking for Nixon. Creeping behind the D. It's going to hang. He'll make a graceful one-handed catch. Casey tried to cover, could not. Nixon with his 4th goal.
He just makes it look so easy, does
Beautiful.
Nixon?
Yes, he does.
He just kind of like glides down the field a little bit and gets like yardage. Like, you know, this guy's kind of on him right there, and then just nice timing up with the left. It just makes it look easy there. Rebholz just puts it over the defender. Nice bomb there. That's the forehand side. That's what he likes. And Nixon ties the game at 13.
Nixon looks like he's going to be a true star, doesn't he? I mean, so graceful. And
well, we'll find out how he withstands a big, Nationals three-day tournament, 4 days if you make finals, I believe. And Harvard, what are they? I think they're the 7 seed, Don, out of 20. So they're in a position there to make a run at semis, maybe even finals. Who knows? Competition won't be easy, but we'll see how Nixon performs on the big stage.
So they can
this one.
Continue to go back and forth here in the first half of play. And now the chance for the Spinners to regain the lead. I'd like to, if I had the time, I'd go check that national tournament out.
It's in Cincinnati this year. Cincinnati's is what they call it.
I'm actually driving through Cincinnati in 2 weekends from now. Hairnet. Oh, little spinorama there, and Devaney will move it forward 10 yards. He was whacked there by Jimmy Foster. Game getting a bit physical.
Devaney with the hammer.
And he cannot get it there. Rainwater tried to dig it off the top of the turf, and they turned it back.
This is not what Philadelphia wanted. They didn't need that. It's open. Devaney's not your thrower. He's your receiver. Boston might have a chance to make them pay now.
Rainwater gave it a pretty good effort. Boston trying to regain a lead. Their largest lead has been 3. Now the shouts of defense again, and they're going to huck it downfield. It's more or less like a punt, and Devaney's going to go catch it. Boy, looking gassed out there was Reinhardt. There he is. We were looking for Reinhardt. There he was. He was out there.
Yeah, and Gass is right. He hasn't played all season. He's been injured, so not the right man for Brajaris to look for.
Time ticking down. Final second.
Oh.
And Trey Katzenbach can't reach high enough on one that floated over his head, and it's back to the Whitecaps here. Will they have time?
Well, what an in-betweener right there. Just like in baseball, an in-between hop there. McClellan puts it over Katzenbach. He could have gotten it, but Katzenbach's thinking, time's running out. I need to get to the end zone. Where's my next throw going to be? Or do I try to get in right now? So he goes up a little bit, looking around at the line, and just a little bit over his head. That's not a disc he can come down with, but even if he comes down with it, where's he going next? So in-between throw there from McClellan, and that's going to be the end of your half.
Yeah, first half will come to a close. Entertaining, to say the least. Boston and Philadelphia putting on an offensive show today. We're tied at 13. Plenty of halftime activity coming your way right here on MLU Live. We'll take a break. We'll come back, recap the first half, what's ahead in the second half, and an interview down on the field with Charisma, I'm sure, upcoming also as part of our halftime show. We're back with more after this.
Chris Mazer and the Rumble look to continue their playoff push with a win against Boston. But Jeff Graham and the Whitecaps won't give up easily as they try and avenge their Week 4 loss. May 24th at 7 p.m. Come out and bring the family when Mark Burton leads his Stags across the border to take on longtime rival Morgan Hibbert and the Nighthawks. Portland at Vancouver, May 24th, 7 p.m.
Back here at Sweeney Field, we immediately go down to the field as Charisma McElwain alongside Jack Casey of the Spinners. Charisma.
Hey guys, it's a very exciting first half. We're here at halftime now. I see you got a bandage on your arm. What happened?
Someone's making an upline cut, and I thought I had to play on the disc. Bid for it. Unfortunately, I miscalculated. It's a bit of a dangerous play. Hit him. Apologize to him after the fact. Just trying to play a little too aggressive. So trying to make up for that. Hopefully, just play a little more calm and controlled.
We're tied up now, so what do you think you need to do to get a W for this game? This game is crucial for you guys. What do you think you need to do to get a win?
Second half's our half. We've shown it every time, every game. We've got to come up there with the intensity. We showed at the end of the second quarter there. We have the intensity. We know we can do it. We bring that intensity. We bring that energy. We can really open this up.
All right, we'll keep playing. Good job. Thanks, guys. I'm sending it back up to you.
Thanks, Charisma.
Charisma down below doing good work there with Jack as Jack Casey wearing that armband. Looked good on him, didn't it, that orange color?
No, not the color you want to be wearing. But good composure there from the young kid there. We don't want to see a lot. You don't want to see a lot of that there. It's the right call to get the band.
Well, you've turned out to be a prophet, at least for the first half. I thought Philadelphia was starting to go into some demise for a bit there. You watched Boston open up a 3-goal lead, but you said, look out, they're going to be leg weary with the Whitecaps. And lo and behold, Spinners a big second quarter.
Well, it's going to come down to the end, Don. I feel it's just another game where it's like who's going to have it at the end of the game. And not just have the legs, but the intelligence, the patience, the smarts, really to collect your wits there. That's what Boston's playing for. They're playing to be there to win at the end. They know they don't have the legs. They know they don't have the heavy guns. They're missing some. They're missing Brescher. They're missing Clark. They're missing Miles Montgomery Butler. They lost Piers McNaughton early in the season. They got some guys out, and they know it. And they've had a tough time in this situation all season. So they're playing to be there at the end.
They're a gritty team, a team that plays with a lot of confidence, one of the reasons why they're in today's game. On the flip side for Philadelphia, if you read all the articles on the MLU website, it says Philly, they don't give up, but they get discouraged, and then things seem to topple downhill. We're not seeing that here today.
Right, they're playing smart. They're playing within themselves. We've seen a few instances where they haven't been quite smart enough, but for the most part, they're playing composed, and I really like what they're doing out there. The zone comes from Boston, and they're not trying to force it. The few times they do, they've paid the price, and it's been a turnover. So if Philadelphia can stay sort of on this level here and really wear them down at the end, this game is only in their advantage. They have all the intangibles going for them. They got the numbers, they got the home crowd, they got the desire.
Well, you're watching MLU Live. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with some outstanding first half highlights right here from Sweeney Field on the campus of St. Joseph's University.
Chris Mazer and the Rumble look to continue their playoff push with a win against Boston. But Jeff Graham and the Whitecaps won't give up easily as they try and avenge their Week 4 loss. May 24th at 7 p.m. Come out and bring the family when Mark Burton leads his Stags across the border to take on longtime rival Morgan Hibbert and the Nighthawks. Portland at Vancouver, May 24th, 7 p.m.
Right back here at Sweeney Field. Some great highlights in the first half. Knotted up at 13, as you can see. And, boy, really, all about offense from the get-go in this one. And then a few turnovers here and there, but it's really been offensive displays that will highlight, I think, our highlight reel.
Yeah. Hironette rips this one down the field here. We're going to see Deviney here. Goes up, gets the position, uses his arm there a little bit to establish it, and comes down with it. Malachek not afraid to put it. Malachek rips this up to Nixon. Lindsay goes up for the bid. Oof, comes across with the right hand. Not enough.
Nixon showed so much patience. That was a big play by Bayer.
Nice preserved possession there. Graham makes it look easy. Here's that one you're talking about. Yep. Yeah, we get to see that one again, Don. Farnsworth had possession there, and Braz hits the disc after it's already been caught. Rainwater comes down with that. I like to see Hironette putting these and collecting them because Philadelphia needs to establish that deep game. That was an issue I felt that they had a little bit last season, too, where they just weren't able to establish that.
Now let's check on that deflection. Going back to that Rainwater catch, boy, he stayed with that play brilliantly. I had given up on it. I thought that ball, that disc had been knocked out of play by Farnsworth defensively.
So did I, but it's the cones that I think are the out of bounds, and you see it down there. So it looked like he was going to be out of bounds and had another foot there, and alertly is able to come down with it. I think we're seeing Western Wayne High School out here in the white. A little like halftime action here. Not sure who they're playing.
You know, Spinners do a great job here in the Philadelphia community, inviting the high school teams down, and they put on clinics, and I think you see that in Boston and New York and D.C., of course, as they try to grow the sport of Ultimate.
Well, the thing with Ultimate, it's fun, and it's growing and always will be growing, and it ain't going to stop, which is pretty sweet. So good to have everybody out here and have fun. And playing in front of fans and a crowd and some action right there is great.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more halftime chatter. Boston and Philadelphia tied at 13. I'm going to test Tony's knowledge on the West Coast teams when we come back.
All right.
All right. Take a break.
Chris Mazer and the Rumble look to continue their playoff push with a win against Boston. But Jeff Graham and the Whitecaps won't give up easily as they try and avenge their Week 4 loss. May 24th at 7 p.m. Come out and bring the family when Mark Burton leads his Stags across the border to take on longtime rival Morgan Hibbert and the Nighthawks. Portland at Vancouver, May 24th, 7 p.m.
Right back here at Sweeney Field. Boston, Philadelphia tied at 13. We know the Whitecaps trying to keep pace with a 5-1 current here on the East. We don't talk much about the West Coast, but quite a battle going on there with Seattle at 4-2 and Portland at 3-1. Vancouver and San Francisco rounding things out. They each have 2 wins apiece.
Well, here, looking at the scores here, Nighthawks go down to San Francisco and a rainy day there. Windy. San Francisco with their weakened roster gets Mac Taylor back and pulls out the overtime win 13-12. Big loss for the Nighthawks. They kind of wanted that one. Rainmakers go down to Portland, undefeated Portland Stags this season at 3-0, and pull out the win 25-23. Seattle now at 4-2. Next weekend, I love this, Portland's going up to Vancouver to play. That's going to be a tough position for Portland to be in. They could be 3-2 at the end of next weekend. Seattle right now in the driver's seat. There's your next weekend games. And New York goes up to Boston to try to recover their season. Could be another must-win game for that team against Boston.
And I'll tell you what, it is tough to play the Whitecaps at home at Hormel. They're unbeaten all year long, and of course unbeaten through last year too. And they're going to be tough to beat again next week. But they got a game on their mind here in the second half. Adjustments for both these clubs, Philadelphia and Boston, coming into the second half of play today.
Well, I think Philadelphia should keep running them. They did the zone a couple times, maybe just to mix it up. I would just ditch it. I don't really see the purpose of having that zone too much. I mean, just run these guys. So that's the adjustment I would think about for Philly. Use your legs, use your numbers, make Boston tired. Boston has got to. They got to do a little something more on D. I mean, they're literally kind of standing around there, and it hasn't quite worked yet. So, maybe send a shooter, keep one guy fresh, and have him out there and try to make a play. Maybe we'll see some of that.
Maybe they're hoping Philadelphia makes a few offensive mistakes. They can cash in and earn a victory that way. They did, I thought, really limit the Spinners from that long huck, that long throw downfield to their receivers for the most part in the first half. But
well, is that benefiting Boston or Philadelphia? Because, Philadelphia has a tendency to put those to no one. So if you give Philly easy advantages to work it short, maybe a team that kind of sometimes has some confidence issues and doesn't necessarily have the patience to hit the easy pass, and you give them an easy pass, I don't know. Maybe you're giving them a little bit too much.
Certainly a different game than the game we witnessed last week in Boston between these two.
A lot different, It's like two different teams out there.
It's amazing. Last week, of course, they had the thunderstorms, the lightning prior to the start of the game. It delayed things for about 45 minutes. And really for the road team, and not making any excuses going back to last week for the Spinners, but when you're on the road and your time frame gets thrown off to the Mother Nature, it's got to be difficult. You're going to stiffen up a little bit. You're on that bus for, 3-4 hours coming on the way up. And obviously today they enjoy home cooking. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more right here on MLU Live.
Chris Mazer and the Rumble look to continue their playoff push with a win against Boston. But Jeff Graham and the Whitecaps won't give up easily as they try and avenge their Week 4 loss. May 24th at 7 p.m. Come out and bring the family when Mark Burton leads his Stags across the border to take on longtime rival Morgan Hibbert and the Nighthawks. Portland at Vancouver, May 24th, 7 p.m.
All right, right back here on MLU Live. We got dressed up for today's game,
right.
Tony. Huh? You like that? I like that. Sweeney Field, indeed. Overcast skies up above. We were talking about perfect conditions throughout this game. Looks like it's going to remain that way for the second half, and these two teams putting on the offensive displays. And I know you talked about adjustments. How about players to look for here in the second half?
Well, Deviney got a couple scores early as a receiver. Get him out there. Get him into the end zone. I love it. Is he the guy to throw the disc? Nah, not so sure. Esser, big in the first quarter. We're going to see him again. I guarantee he's going to be around there. He's young. He's got legs. And on Boston, I want to see Marquette get more involved. He should be kind of a guy out here who can make a difference. So
yeah, he's been a little quiet here in the first half. Yeah, you're right. And we've seen a lot of Nixon, and he has been tremendous. So the clubs are back on the field going through their warm-ups. I was talking about officiating in the first half, and they had to make a couple of tight calls there in the first half.
Well, they made the right call down here. Farnsworth got the disc in the end zone, and Braz came in a little bit late. They made the right call on the armband to Casey. They missed a travel down here, perhaps by Bear. Other than that, pretty good job by the officials.
Yeah, Jack Casey really admitted that, I was at fault. That was a foul. So probably a really easy one to make, too, right? But he'll wear that armband now. So one more infraction today, he's gone.
That's right.
And then out next week,
and
too.
And then out the following week, correct, yeah.
Other than that, it's been a cleanly played game between the two teams, and should be exciting as we start the second half here. Boston and Philadelphia tied at 13. Philly, I believe their largest lead has been, a goal?
That's right.
They have not opened up any breathing room.
I want to know if it's the largest lead they've had all season. I'm not kidding, because they've been down in every game. They're 1-4. They did not have a lead in the first opening game against D.C. I do not believe they had a lead down in D.C. unless it was early. So it's probably the latest they've had a lead, except for obviously the win that they had in the double overtime that we were there to call at Philly a couple weeks ago against New York.
Well, good look at the spinners down below. Jake Rainwater wearing number 27. Patrick Deviney, you mentioned he needs a big second half. Esser in the middle of that whole pile. And there's the on-demand, but very good Boston Whitecaps.
Well, they look kind of fired up there. Graham, who on his profile has been captain of every team he's played for. So, and there's some big-name teams on there. So, dating back to, his high school days, Amherst University, UMass, who's captain of the UMass team. So, he's a vocal leader. So, if anyone's going to get his team focused in, it's going to be Jeff Graham.
Of course, the Whitecaps, the defending MLU champion from a year ago, and championship game will be played right here in this beautiful city of Philadelphia in about mid-July or so.
The Franklin Field? That's going to be fun there. Home of the Penn Relays. Franklin Field, beautiful stadium there. Looking forward to that. Sweeney Field here, a nice stadium. Mr. Sweeney, who it's named for, is down in front of us wearing his custom-made #1 Philadelphia Spinners Sweeney jersey, which is kind of sweet. Seems like he's having a good time.
Absolutely. I like the jersey. If he takes it off, I might have to grab that. I don't have an MLU jersey. I got to grab
me neither,
one.
actually.
Yeah.
I got some I got some socks. The socks are nice. I got some. I wear those all the time when I play.
How would they be for tennis? Those socks? Would they be all right?
They're thick.
You play? They're thick. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what you wear for. I don't know if you wear thick socks for tennis. They're good for cleats because you need a little comfort.
Right. Exactly. So here's the pull as Alex Peters will get it started, and the Whitecaps will field the first pull here in a tie game to start the third quarter. It's going to hang up there. There was some hang time, and they'll start from their end zone.
I don't understand why you throw a beautiful pull and no one's down on it. I just don't understand that. They should have been down on that far and try to get that Callahan. Why not?
Jeff Graham showing his versatility today. Throws that one too high and stolen away on the intercept by Pana. Braz now along the sideline, and the Spinners Pana will make the catch on the run. That was Hatcher trying to guard him there.
Well, narrowly there. Braz feather. Just enough touch to Pana. He sneaks one. This is a big opportunity to start the half off. Oh, Colton gets it.
Yes, indeed, on a nice feed from Braz. And there you go, the defense. On an intercept, they cash in with a goal. And the Spinners, they earn the lead at 14-13.
Well, this is something you don't see every day. As Boston already looks a little lacking confidence here. There is the normally unflappable Jeff Graham floats and sails one over the head of Malachek. Pana easily there to collect it. They work it in. Hatchet there with a couple chances for a D there, but not enough. And Colton gets the score there from Braz.
So Philadelphia up by 1. Just underway, 26 seconds into the third quarter.
And here they go rotating the lines again on offense is Boston. As Marquette, you saw walking onto the field there with Cooper. Here's the Spinners on the sideline there. That's their offensive leader right there, Nick Haranet, congratulating his D guys for getting a score, getting him focused for the next point, because now it's up to the offense to hold serve. But first, the defense gets another crack at it as Philadelphia will pull right here.
David Baer on the pull. He's had a solid game today for the Philadelphia Spinners, trying to pull a mild upset here against the on-demand Boston Whitecaps. Maybe a major upset, I guess, in the world of MLU.
Well, I don't know. Boston's lost every game on the road. They're 0-2 on the road. So
there's a hammer. Barjaris to the sideline. Is there room over there? The catch made by Marquette. You're looking for Cricket to get involved, and he does there with a nice catch. Esser on the coverage.
Now I'll throw the score. Yeah.
Yep, Cooper.
Well, there's Marquette, as we called it. It's funny to say this, but when he gets the disc 10 yards from the end zone, your team is going to score. If he gets it there, he's either going to throw the score or he's going to throw a give and go and get the score. But anyway, the hammer made all the difference there. The sideline, again, it's the cones, not the line. So Marquette wisely, smartly sees the cones, has enough room, goes up high, gets it, and Boston at least holds for the moment.
That hammer again.
Count gets up a little high and dish up the line to Cooper. Why not? Keeper stretches it. Barrett takes the wrong line and in for the goal on a high count there.
First goal for Cooper here today.
Here's the guy here's the team that we've been seeing all game here line up here. Damiano's kind of new out here, but he'll receive the pull. And here we go for the Philadelphia Spinners.
Brandoff the control. He'll use the middle of the field. Boy, Rainwater's been a big player today. Seen a lot of time out there for the Spinners. This is Hairnet. Nicky's going to have to hurry up and do something. The stall clock being counted off. Up ahead, Glazer. Let's see. It looks like a little bit man-to-man right now from the Whitecaps.
Uh-oh, counts high.
Hairnet, stumbling catch, and he'll loft one for Rainwater. Can he get there? It's going to hang to the back line. Will he have room? No, can't make the play. Tried to toe the line and pull it in.
Well, this is where you really want a hammer shot. I don't know. Hammer tough on that side, too. It's a little more touch from here and that would have been an easy goal. That's a nice, that's a third of a field shot there, so range wasn't the problem. In fact, it was the problem because he hit it too long. And now Boston with the chance to break.
And Rebholz, Graham, sliding catch. Up ahead, worked it cleanly near side to Hirschberger. Hirschberger with a goal in the first. Graham with a couple. Over to Rusty Ingold Smith. Hairnet really giving him a lot of space to play.
Randolph there trying to shut down Rebholz. Got him for a minute there, but Rebholz able to finally get open.
Hirschberger being double teamed. Where's he going to go? Finds the outlet. Smartly done there to Rebholz. And it's thrown downfield and wide open for the score. Somebody forgot somebody, and Boston will put one up on the board. Is that Hatchett on the receiving end? Yeah. Looking for the number.
Well, not just somebody, but it started off with Brandoff goes for the double team. I don't know if they talked about this, if this was a choice or just a player choice, but Brandoff goes to double team in there. He's late to get to Rebholz, so Rebholz has all the time in the world to serve the field. DeVinny is the only one in the zip code of Hatchett there, and that's an easy score, folks. So Boston collects the break here now after Philly had somewhat of an easy chance there, moving it down and just not able to convert on O. Now it's 2 in a row for Boston as they take the 15-14 lead, and Philadelphia looks to regroup. Now they have their D-line out on O, so Coach Maroon elects to pull his traditional O-line guys. Maybe they're tired. They're a couple points in a row, and instead puts in his D-line. So we see Pan out there, Bear, Braz, Art Scholl, Matt Esser, pretty much the intact D-line on offense now, as David Bear will receive the pull. McClellan right there with him.
So Hatchett with the goal there a moment ago. McClellan now plays it up ahead. Peters, he looked way downfield on the huck for Esser, but decided to go and dump it on back. This is Panana up ahead. Braz fakes the huck down the field. Esser comes smartly back to it. Far side they work at the Art Scholl. Scholl the control on the far side into the middle of Pana. Picked up by Malachek, and he'll feed it along to Esser. Esser fakes a forehand, now lofts it on the forehand off right. Braz, Bear, working the short game to the far side. McClellan. He'll take a look, and he'll feed it in to Pana for the score. And the Spinners work it patiently downfield, and they'll knot things up at 15. My pleasure to have Sean Sweeney alongside. Of course, Sean, the field's named after you here, and you got yourself a beautiful shirt. I like that Spinner shirt.
Yes, I do. Spectacular day today. Outstanding athletes, and I'm glad to see him play so well on Sweeney Field.
Absolutely. Why Sweeney Field? Give me the history of it all.
I got an MBA here at St. Joe's, and I thought that the best way to give back is athletics. And when I look at the athleticism of these players, I'm glad that I did it.
Absolutely. Were you a fan of the sport prior to?
I was in college. I was a college basketball player, but in my off time I would play ultimate frisbee, and it combines basketball, football, soccer. It's got everything, and it was a lot of fun.
You know, I'm a newbie to it, only 3 years into the sport from this vantage point, and I really think it's a game that's really going to take off. I know they played in high school, but it's going to be even more popular as the years move on.
Absolutely. It incorporates everything. Look at the speed and the athleticism. I mean, world class.
It is terrific, and this field is gorgeous and obviously well taken care of. Are you here every day meticulously taking a look at things?
I wish I was, but it looks phenomenal.
It really does.
Glad to have you playing here.
Absolutely. It's nice to be here, and hopefully you'll have us back in the future.
I hope you're here for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I kind of like it. The atmosphere is wonderful today, isn't it?
It is. Great crowd, and I really love it.
Well, as you take a look at it, Sean, and what's on the horizon now for St. Joseph University overall from the athletic standpoint?
Well, one of our big focuses is lacrosse. We would love to win the national championship in lacrosse and soccer, so we put more emphasis in those areas, build out the facilities to help with recruiting. And we beat Bryant this year in lacrosse, and Bryant beat Syracuse last week in lacrosse. They were in the Elite Eight, so I think we're knocking on the doorstep for a national championship. With facilities like this, I think we'll get the recruits we need, and you'll see the Hawks in lacrosse like they were in basketball.
That's terrific. Some niche sports like ice hockey and lacrosse, you can be a smaller school and have a chance for that national championship. A little more difficult in the game of basketball and like to compete with the Kentuckys and those UConns and of the world.
Although we almost beat UConn.
Yeah, that's
you
right,
saw that
that's
we were
right,
a point
that's
away.
right.
So.
That's true. That is true. Before we let you go, obviously you take a look at these two teams down below. How do they treat you? How do the MLU treat you here over the last few hours today?
First-class event. I mean, they really know what they're doing. Outstanding marketing, and this is a sport that's going to take America over in the next couple of years.
All right, Sean, thanks for sitting in for a moment here. I do appreciate it. Great work. And,
thanks for your time.
Congratulations on the dedication here today and a nice jersey and alike. I have to. You should market that jersey. That's what
right.
you need to
That's
do.
right. Thank you. Have a good day.
You're welcome. All right, joining us here from Sweeney Field, Sean Sweeney, and certainly the university appreciating all his efforts. Former basketball player here at St. Joe's, and a score by the Spinners, and that will make Sean happy as DeVinny on the receiving end with his fourth of the game.
Yeah, well, there he is, just right when you call him, right when you need him there. DeVinny finds the end zone from Rainwater there, who sails it in nicely.
Back and forth they go.
Lacrosse field, that's good. This is a good field for ultimate then if it's also made for lacrosse.
Absolutely.
I like that.
So they got a basketball team. They nearly knock off UConn,
that's
right?
Right. I picked them to beat UConn.
That's right. And now they have a lacrosse team that did beat Bryant. That's a pretty good program, too.
Bryant?
So
you're going to
like that.
They beat Syracuse?
And they beat Syracuse,
That's a good team, too.
That's right.
But you know who won the national championship in lacrosse?
I didn't even pay attention this year.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, really?
Yeah,
wow.
School I happen to have attended.
You went to I didn't realize you went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, I was Fighting Irish. Yeah. Started an ultimate team there, Don.
Did you?
Yeah,
awesome.
91. Papal Rage is what they're called. One of the players, Dan Fafari for Philadelphia, went there. Well, I don't know what that pull was.
That was a boomerang. That's what that was.
And it wasn't for Fafari did not throw that. I'll just make it clear on that one. So what do we have here? 16 all. This game is going to go down to the wire, is my prediction.
That's a bold prediction, Tony.
I call him like I see him.
Did you have fields like this at Notre Dame when you helped begin the program there?
Yeah, we had a good indoor facility. Loftus, beautiful. Speaking of Loftus, this one hangs.
Shull, can he play the defense? And he will as he skied up and beyond. Number 43, John Hirschberger, to knock it away.
Well, here's another opportunity now. Philadelphia's been getting them. Can their D-line convert? Crowd wants them to, that's for sure.
Gabe Colton to the near side. Now Bayer. Colton. They have not had a sizable lead in this game. Every time they've taken a brief lead, this is Lindsay. The Whitecaps have found a way to come on back. Oh, some layout D try right there. Great try by Foster. Spinners quickly advance, knowing they have the man advantage there with Foster laying out behind everybody. They left him in his wake.
Casey there with a nice play. Here's the chance, knocking on the door.
Braz looking, faking, and in the Shull. And Shull now starting to become a dominating force at both ends as he made the big D.
Yeah, Shull is the player. Bookends, they call it, and that's what they give it to him. Art Shull, the farmer, gets his goal, collects another one there. 17-16, that's a point they needed. I love it. I love the break there. Use the crowd. Use the advantage. Full field there, they had to work it. And Braz makes the play.
Here's that defense by Shull. Just got above the rest.
It was him with Taylor up there. Two big bodies go up. Timed nicely by Shull there. And the little fake in and out and gets Hirschberger.
Good look at Danny Clark on the sideline. Not in uniform today. It's the back of his
a little bit of a bulky knee is what they've told me.
Hopefully he'll be okay.
I keep turning down my volume here. Is it the crowd? Are people telling me, Tony, you're talking too loud? Watch. I want to turn up my bass.
It would never be too much, Tony.
Oh, I won't comment.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, Hostak from Boston, and they finally find the opening with Stevens.
Let's see what the Whitecaps can do. They're down by 1. Every time the Spinners have jumped out to a lead, they've been able to battle back to the near side here. That's Stevens, and he'll edge one to Farnsworth, and he'll make the catch on the run past the rolling Panna.
Well, someone's better get the alert here. It's Steve. That's his third forehand throw goal, so Spinners have got to be aware there. Maybe force him to the backhand side or something, but Stevens coming out of nowhere is making a bunch of plays here right now. Again, nice edge to it. Puts it out in front of his man, Farnsworth. Panna with the bid, but it's too late. Farnsworth gets the goal.
That's a big body for Panna, the guard, too.
Yeah, they've got to recognize now. I mean, if Stevens is going to not be afraid, he's got the green light to put that, then they're going to have Panna shouldn't be that far off his man. So, something for them that they're going to have to be aware of in the fourth quarter. Stevens gets the disc on this near side with the forehand at his disposal.
Looking at one of our cameramen down there below, giving you that great shot of the Spinners sideline, and I'm trying to figure out what that apparatus is. I know it's a camera, but it's got all kinds of stuff on it.
It's a steady cam rig.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Those are great.
They really are. Looks heavy.
It's balanced by a gimbal, Don, so it actually it's not that heavy. It's balanced on both the top and the bottom, and the gimbal keeps it level.
This is Mickey Hairnet to the sideline Esser. Spinners looking to regain the lead here in the fourth, and Brandolph will control it. They got him tightly. Number 4, Matt Rebholz all over him.
Well, he's double-teamed, and
That's a low throw, and they turn it over. It was intended for Davini.
They do not have rhythm on offense.
That time they did. A little more pressure from the Boston Whitecaps, too. Rebholz and Goldsmith lay out D, try by Hairnet. Now they're going to double-team just briefly. Hatchett, a great defender, over to Graham. Graham's played both sides of the disc today. Showing his versatility. A little feather up ahead to end goal. Is he in? They claim he is not. He'll have to touch and restart here. Spinners trying to hustle back defensively. Graham. Boy, would they love a turnover here, wouldn't they? Obviously. That's not going to be the case. Hirschberger makes the catch, going high for it.
Well, back and forth we go here. That's 2 in a row for Philly, 2 in a row now for Boston as they take the lead and a break advantage as Hirschberger collects the score. It's just little mistakes here are costing. No more just, make a bunch of turnovers each side and, see who scores. It's just the little things now. A forehand to the open side here by hearing it falls a little short. It's the little things. So if that's what this game is going to be determined by, because that's what it looks like Boston's playing for right now, letting Philadelphia make their own mistakes. Nothing's being forced right now. These are unforced errors on both sides, because Boston's doing the same thing. Throw away from Graham, pops up too high. The last one float a little too high and Hatchett right there. So it's going to see who's got more composure at the end of the game.
Good look at Lindsay, number 31 for the Spinners. Look of concern on the face of the Spinners right now as Boston will not go away, and they got the lead back.
Well, that's because that's their O-line a little bit upset that they weren't able to score, and now their D-line has to come in and try to make it happen.
Brendan Malachek on the pull. David Baer awaits it. McClellan.
Coach Maroon very consistent with this. If the O-line doesn't score, he gets his D-line players out. That's where we're seeing Baer and Shull. And over here to McClellan.
They've been effective today scoring, and they play it back to Alex Peters. On the far side, Braz.
Braz been huge for them.
That's Panna. Over to Baer. Laid it out nice and soft for him to get to on a bit of a reverse. Up in the middle now. Gimiano. Nice. Yeah, the Baer. Good break. And in. Shull. Can he get it? He will.
Nice find by Damiano there. As Baer goes a little bit soft and then comes up fast on the sort of like the little hesitation move. And Shull streaking to the end zone. Shull goes up big. Farnsworth closes quickly, but Shull doesn't give him a chance. It goes up for the sky.
Third goal by today, and we're tied at 18.
Well, the D-line's showing their stuff right there. So now Coach Maroon's going to have to mix up the lines. He's got to figure out. He's got Katzenbach standing out there figuring out what to do. He might be helping him out there. Katzenbach he's going to go on D. I can't imagine. Lindsey, Colton out there. Esther with disc in his hand. Things are starting to get crunch time now. 2 minutes left. 2:45 here. And we see Casey out there with the armband. Here's Foster, Hatchet. This is Boston's D-line playing out. Everything is getting mixed around here. Ryan, Zid, Hirschberger. So, this is an interesting battle here as the D-line's battling out on the O.
Is it ultimate or chess today with that we're watching?
It's pretty crafty, that's for sure, whatever is going on. I mean, this is what you have to do. You got to play smart, and that's what both teams are doing. So,
it's been tightly contested all game. Largest advantage to Boston by 3 goals back in the first half. Spinners have found an answer. Boston's found answers, and we continue on. Ingold Smith will play it out right side. Hatchet up into the middle. Graham fakes. Goes backhand. Reb holds. Lays it up Hirschberger, and he was wide open. Missed assignment. And that's a goal for Hirschberger.
Well, way to reverse field again. It looks like it's going over to the near side or on the backhand side, and it looks like a break mark there as Rebholz gets a clean look at a flick. So there, that's the break mark right there as Graham finds it on the backhand I-O to Rebholz, and that's why Zumbrum can't get over to Hirschberger there because that's against the force. And, you put your D-line out there, but who's your guys that scored? Graham and Rebholz, your O guys. So this mixing up of the players doesn't mean so much when you got versatile guys like Rebholz and Graham.
Third goal for Hirschberger as he's congratulated on the sideline, and the little taste of water, well-deserved. Hatchet, seeing him more on the offensive side today.
Yeah, well,
one of the top defenders in the league.
Yeah, no, he is. I think he leads the league.
He does.
12 Ds in the league, and you're right. We're seeing him on the O-line. So now we're back. Now we're back on serve, as it were, and we do use that term in Ultimate in the breaks as the Philly O-line that we've seen all day. We'll get on there, and here's the crazy zone from Boston again.
Spinners. And that's Nicky Hairnet up in the middle of Brandoff. He's had a lot of touches today. He's done a nice job handling it. Over to Katzenbach. Katzenbach looks ahead, and they feed it quickly in. And that was no foot race at all. That's just too easy as the Spinners come up with an answer to knot it back up at 19.
Well, I want to know where Damiano's come from. Messiah College, Newcastle, Delaware. He's the man that got that break there to Katzenbach. So on the backhand side, that's the third time I've seen him do that. He did that on the previous point when he led Bear that same direction there. So Damiano throwing in rhythm is making things happen out there for the Spinners. Great to see a good pickup there for that team.
I believe that is the 5th goal. I'm starting to lose track, but Patrick DeVinny here today. Have not mentioned Jeremy Nixon much here in the second half, which is interesting. He's on the sideline.
Is he injured?
I don't know. He is on the sideline. It looks like he's holding his left ankle.
Oh, we haven't seen him at all, have we?
No, we have not.
Yeah, he's sitting on the bench here. This Boston team is in trouble if we're not going to see him in the rest of the game.
Under 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter, knotted up at 19. And big possession for the Whitecaps. They're all turning into big possession. That one turned over, and Goldsmith trying to find Graham. Spinners can take a lead here. That might have been a weary throw.
And Goldsmith puts it too far for Graham.
This is Pana.
Uh-oh.
This D-line has done a pretty good job today. Will they get a little luck? Yes, they will. Oh, sometimes better to be lucky than good. Lindsey read the flight brilliantly.
And he had a wide open case in the end zone. Took his time, though.
Colton. Braz for the lead here for the Spinners in the winning moments of the third quarter over to Michael Pana.
Had a poacher there.
Pana look forehand. Will go cross field. Very dangerous throw.
Scary, yeah.
Shell got to it. Shell double team. Back to Pana. Panner. That was deflected off a knee. Diving try by Ingold Smith Casey on the far side. Number 10 for the Spinners just couldn't dig it free. Somebody got that with a leg.
Yeah, it got macked up in the air there. Turnovers from both D-line stars for both teams, Pana and Rusty Ingold Smith. Not a surprise. Oh, this is a surprise.
Yes. Good defense by Casey wearing that armband. You might remember from the first half. Rough play, timeout call for by the Spinners. You like this here with only seconds remaining?
Good time, absolutely. Looked a little weary. You need this goal. You got to get this break. Great timeout call.
Philadelphia on top, actually 19-19 you score with the 31 seconds remaining. Cheerleaders back on to entertain the fans here at St. Joseph's University. Today we look at that beautiful pass.
Lindsay comes up and follows it. Collects the garbage is what they call that.
All right, we'll take a break. Back with more right here on MLU Live.
Chris Mazer and the Rumble look to continue their playoff push with a win against Boston. But Jeff Graham and the Whitecaps won't give up easily as they try and avenge their Week 4 loss. May 24th at 7 p.m. Come out and bring the family when Mark Burton leads his Stags across the border to take on longtime rival Morgan Hibbert and the Nighthawks. Portland at Vancouver, May 24th, 7 p.m.
All right, right back. And, we're wondering, where is he? What's he doing, Jeremy Nixon? He's on the field right now as part of the huddle. So that is good news. Maybe he's coming on to the field to compete again. We haven't seen him much in the third quarter.
Yeah, well, so let's figure out what so I keep turning. Am I doing this right, Matt? Let's figure out what Boston's going to do. What Philadelphia's going to do. So they're the timeout here allows their offense to come on here. So here's the O-line we've seen all day. Brandolph, hearing that with the disc right there. Katzenbach, Glazer, Rainwater, Esser, and Divini. Here's the D-line. Brauer-Jarris, Farnsworth, Nixon, Malachek, Marquette, Taylor right there. The call in my mind is you got to spring Divini free. Who's on him? Farnsworth is on Divini. The other big player to watch out for is Rainwater, 27. Brauer-Jarris on him.
See how they defend it? Hairnet with the disc in hand to get it started. They're going to send Glazer drifting downfield.
Ooh, they cracked it open. It's going to be another zone from Boston. Exposed a little bit by that cut from Glazer. As Divini is wide open and they can't find him in the back of the end zone. They might not need to, though.
Glazer up ahead. Esser will make the catch for the score. They worked the sideline that time, Tony.
Okay, so that was a great movement by Philadelphia. They busted it open as Glazer sprung forth. It looked like it was going to be a man D. Glazer breaks it open. No one goes with them, and when no one goes with them on D, you know it's a zone. So they find the spaces there. It looks like man up front here, but in the back, Farnsworth is playing zone. Two-man spring. Esser's got the clean look, and he scores the goal as Philadelphia takes the advantage back.
Fourth for Esser, and look at him celebrate. Can you do that, Tony?
I cannot. I would not like to see me try. I can do like kind of on a beach, when you sort of tumble around.
Now, on a terrific day, the Whitecaps might have been given a little too much time here. 18 seconds, a lot of time for a crafty team to pull within a tie again.
You remember the New York game, and they just started bombing it downfield, and they seemed to catch everyone. But guess the guy who's caught him, everyone isn't playing. Danny Clark.
That's right.
The other one is Graham. So let's see. They're gonna go. Katzenbach, the basketball player, is playing center field now. Cross sports reference. But let's see what happens.
Foster to Graham. Malachek, he can certainly huck it downfield. Back it goes to Graham. He'll take a look. Up ahead, it rises high. Foster, nice catch. And we get whistle.
That's over. That's the end of time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm looking up at the clock. It's 1 second. Is Boston not seeing that? That's a mistake there on Boston's part. They don't even get a look into the end zone, and that's going to be the end of the third quarter now.
Yeah, interesting. Usually their clock management is right on time.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. Back with the fourth quarter. Philadelphia looking for the mild upset over Boston. They lead it through 3.
Chris Mazer and the Rumble look to continue their playoff push with a win against Boston. But Jeff Graham and the Whitecaps won't give up easily as they try and avenge their Week 4 loss. May 24th at 7 p.m. Come out and bring the family when Mark Burton leads his Stags across the border to take on longtime rival Morgan Hibbert and the Nighthawks. Portland at Vancouver, May 24th, 7 p.m.
Back here at the Sweeney Field, 1 quarter to go, 10 minutes of play, maybe more the way this one's going. Philadelphia leading it 20-19 over Boston through 3, Tony Leonardo.
You think we might get another overtime, Don?
I'm thinking it.
Well, we knew. Well, hey, there's Dizzy. This is the mascot.
You've been waiting for Dizzy to get that
no,
profile
he's got a
right
gob.
there.
He's got a gob. You can feed him. You can feed that dog.
You could, absolutely.
Dizzy the dog. Former fanatic, I think, the fellow who's in there.
It looked like he wrote his name on the back of his own jersey
Just
there with
in
a
case.
paw.
Well, dogs don't always know their name. Well, if you call them and they don't respond, it's because they don't know their name. Or so they would like you to believe.
And you can't lure them with chocolate because that's not good for dogs, from what I understand.
You can, but then you just don't want to. You don't want to do that. Hot dogs.
Bring some biscuits. Good look at Trey Katzenbach, Jake Rainwater going back on the field, Glazer hairnet for the Spinners. They're 10 minutes away from a win.
So that's a big score to end the quarter there from Philadelphia, because now they're receiving on offense here. So huge opportunity to go up by 2 if their offense can hold, and they could trade this game out. A lot of time left, but if their offense can stay on serve and just hold the fort here, they got a two-break advantage at this point.
Spinners on a 2-goal run. The one thing they have stopped today, a big run by the Whitecaps.
It's really just been back and forth, and you're right, there's been no big runs by either team, and certainly a big difference from last week.
Absolutely. Just tuning in, the Whitecaps in the blue uniforms to confuse you all, and the Philadelphia Spinners in the white home uniforms today.
Well, traditionally, in football, the home team wears the colors because they want the road team to get dirty. Same with baseball. That's where they get the road grays.
Rainwater, Glazer. Glazer looking healthier each and every week, running much better, cutting downfield much more easily. Rainwater.
I like when Philly sends it that far back. It's part of their offense here. This is going to move back on a looks like a little body spot foul on here and that there. So just that dump swing, you see Boston will get yards on that, and Philly's moving 10 yards backwards, and not on the call. That was on the design play. So
Brandolph took the clever pass under the arm by Hernet. Forehand, Brandolph.
Brandolph playing very well today.
He really is.
Yeah, he's pretty critical. Oh, big
and they're
foot.
going to shoot it to Esser. It's going to hang there beautifully for him. Oh, the defense. There's Hatchett. We haven't seen much of that today, but that's a big defense.
Well, off man, Hatchett collects his 13th D of the season after missing a few layouts earlier on. Esser didn't know he was there. Esser had that. All he had to do was go up. By the time he goes up for it, it's too late. It's Hatchett is there for the D.
Great effort by number 27, Jack Hatchett.
And now what do you get? You get Rebholz picking up the disc. That's a great advantage for this Boston team on the D-line there.
Talk about Hatchett. He had 4 blocks against the Spinner team last week alone. That's a year's effort for some, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, that's a lot. That's not easy.
Now it's the Whitecaps' turn. Foster remains out there, seeing a lot of time today. Rebholz into the middle of the field.
Some confused D here. The man to take advantage of is Katzenbach, as he doesn't have the legs to guard. You see number 25 kind of gumbing around out there. Now he's guarding Hirschberger.
Hirschberg with a couple of goals. Throws it low. Oh, big mistake right there. Little.
That's a tired throw.
Yeah,
is what
absolutely.
That is.
And Goldsmith, the intended recipient. Look at this. Rainwater in a track race beats them all. Now DeVinny. They're not going to go to DeVinny. Instead to Esser, and he'll hammer it to DeVinny, and it will pay off with a score. I guess they just wanted Mr. Graham to run around a little bit more.
Yeah, why not? Tire him out. Well, a big turn of events there. Just an easy, simple turnover there from Hirschberger. Unfortunate as they look to tie the game up there. Katzenbach alertly leads down the field there. There's Rainwater, dumps it back, and Esser will throw the big hammer to wide open Patrick DeVinny, who collects his, fourth score today, I believe.
I think it's more than that. I'll have to add it up real quick for you here.
Well, now everything is looking good for Philadelphia. It's lined up nicely. It's still only a 2-goal advantage, but it's a 2-break advantage, 21-19. They did hold there on serve, and they ate the clock up there as a minute 41 goes by. So now it's up to Malachek, Marquette, Nixon, and crew. Teddy Brower-Jarris. Taylor out there. Looks like he's going to pick up the pull here. And let's see if Boston can hold. If they don't, they're in serious trouble. This is a must score for Boston.
Just to bring you up to speed there, that was the fifth
goal from Deviney.
Unofficially, of course. As official as I can make it. This is Taylor, one of the taller players on the pitch right now. Can I call it the pitch? Is that okay?
Sure. They do that in England. They call it a pitch.
I do have a little English heritage. There's a hammer by Cooper. Nixon, he'll make the catch. Haven't seen much of Mr. Nixon until right now here in the second half, and that's a big score.
Well, that's where you want your hammer to come from, is in the flow of the play there. No hesitation. Stahl kind of won. A cut to the far cone there from Nixon. Right in flow, right in motion. Nice touch on that. A little zip there, but Nixon a good target to hit. And they hold, and this game will stay close.
So now Philly will get it back on the pull. There's Berger back out there again. Rebholz heading out.
There's Danny Clark.
Yeah, he looks serious today, huh? Has he got the coaching face on today, this Danny? That's a coaching face.
I think you're right, actually.
That's
a good point.
Face,
We've seen him out there a lot, and he's talking to his players. As a veteran, he's been around. And, in his profile, he has never finished lower than quarterfinals in the championships in the fall season there. So this man, 10 straight years, knows what it takes to be at the top.
Going to come down to Randolph, as you mentioned earlier, having a nice game here today. Found good passing angles. And that's going to blast it downfield on the huck. Can Trey catch him back? Get there. He'll make the catch as he outran Zid for it. Now Glazer looking in. And it's caught for the score, Esser.
Hey, smart job there, Philadelphia. Maroon comes out with a big play call from Hiernat to Katzenbach, one of the slow-footed men out here now with his age, but he is a big target still, and catches Boston completely off guard. Hiernat puts a beautiful throw there and make it look easy there. Nice patience there. They punch it in, and the score to Esser, and Philadelphia maintains.
Mentioned it in the first half. We'll mention it again here in the second half. A team that's very interested in the outcome of this one, DC Current, as they have a 5-1 record in the East after the win over the Rumble yesterday. Look at Trey.
And Zid out there just caught off, just surprises anyone. Like, oh my goodness, Trey's been around the disc all game. Is all of a sudden busting down the seam for the big shot.
Trey recently played over in Italy. Came back on, I think, a red eye to play the next day.
Oh, was he at Paganello? He might have been. Uh-oh. A little too hot. Malachek fires one into Taylor. Yeah, Katzenbach probably went to the Paganello. It's a fun beach tournament, one of the biggest in the world, if not the biggest.
To the near side show.
Uh-oh, here's a shot now.
Oh, they can't get it on the layout. Good effort, but Casey could not come up with it. There's that armband on him. He got that back in the first half.
Well, a mistake there from the youngster. He went with his right hand there. I would have loved to have seen his left come in and his right at the same time and try to two-hand that. He tried to hot catch it and really didn't need to do that. The disc was there for him.
Now the Whitecaps and trying to haul it in with Brower Jarvis. He could not, and they turn it right back to Malachek. Malachek with a bit of a gamble there.
Well, it's getting a little loose now. Malachek had that. He was open, Brower Jarvis. Now, let's see. No, Phil's got one timeout. They don't want to waste it now. They got a long field. It's going to be interesting. Pana's going to sail one into the turf.
Yeah.
It's getting a little ugly.
It really is. All of a sudden, did not have many turnovers. Layout D-bid. Malachek able to make the catch, however, over to Cricket. Marquette. Nixon looking healthy out there right now. We thought he might have been banged up a little bit earlier when we didn't see much of him. And we will get a timeout here.
Well, huge bid from Bros to try to get it back there. Really read Malachek on the under there and just couldn't get to it. It's getting a little crazy out there. It's going to come down to the wire again. 5 minutes left.
We'll take a quick break. Back with more on MLU Live. back here at Sweeney Field. Good look at the Whitecaps down below, along with the officials. Officials within earshot of what they're talking about down there right now.
Well, Graham's telling his troops what he wants out of them. And I guarantee it's going to be – I can't guarantee. I think it's going to be a misdirection. You flow some guys one way, some the other way. They got a short field to work with here. They have to have the score. So patience is going to be a virtue here. No need to try to look for a quick shot. There's probably a play call. Coach Rosenthal told me earlier, he's like, we have play calls for every situation, and we're not using them this season. We're playing dumb. Well, they haven't played dumb today. They're still losing. But the smart thing here is to run the play call and get the score.
Joshua Marquette will pick up the disc to get it going. Here's the whistle, and Scooby's one in to Graham. Graham takes a look. Throws on the backhand side of the middle of the field to Marquette. Marquette, well guarded. Well, they're making the Whitecaps work here a little bit. Good hustle by Hanna to get back defensively. Marquette. Colton went flying by on the fake.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what your play call is if the defense is that good. But again, patience there.
Nixon, look at that angle run by Nixon. Nice throw.
You know, that's okay from Philadelphia. They made him work. It was a short field. They had their chances there. 9 times out of 10, Boston's going to get that score. Rebels with a big fake. Nixon slips over there to the big side as Zumbrum can't find him, and Boston closes to within 1.
Yeah, Nixon coming to life here in the fourth quarter. That's his second goal of the quarter.
Yeah, I wonder, Don, maybe he might have had leg cramps.
Yeah.
Just got him some fluids and some hydration, some electrolytes. So here we go again, all game long. Hearing it, Brandoff, Esser, Deviney. Here's Malachek coming off the field, and Nixon for Boston. They're going to need these guys as the game continues on. But right now, it's all about the Philadelphia O-line.
They bring a lot of desire to the Whitecaps. They're showing that today, being undemanded by somewhat 8 players.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
8
tough
under the roster limit. Yeah,
it's tough when you're down that many bodies.
Randolph to handle it again. He perhaps has been the most efficient handler today.
He had an unfortunate game against New York where he made several key turnovers, and he's just been 100 today, so great to see.
Glazer on the far side. Bauer Jarvis to guard him. Oh, some contact there to Vinny. Got knocked down hard. He's enraged after that contact. We're going to see a band here or what?
Reinhardt just a little slow there. He did crush into Deviney. No call except for the 10-yard penalty. Deviney will drop it back.
Deviney wasn't too pleased.
He's a fiery guy.
Up ahead, Rainwater with a reaching catch for the score from Hairnet.
What a reach. Yeah, good way to put it, man. He just goes up big. Rainwater, a fast shot here. This isn't the touch you want to see as Hairnet puts a little zip on this. But nice read from Rainwater, who goes up early, big, and gets the goal.
I love seeing those officials' hands raised high, indicating goal. And Philadelphia back on top by a couple again.
Katzen back out there to talk to his guys, tell him what he wants to see. Braz, the guy I like to see. It's Paul Minetti, assistant coach there. He typically focuses on the offense. He's been around the Philadelphia scene for quite some time. Very smart coach there for the Philadelphia Spinners.
Matthew Paperon wearing 22. There's David Bayer.
Foster out there, number 17 on D, along with Zid, number 3, Farnsworth, number 6 for Boston.
I'm thinking big moment from Zid here. He's capable.
I say D, they're on O. I'm sorry.
That's Peters on the pull. We'll angle back into the field of play.
A little bit of a weak pull. I'd like to see that disc get a little further without much wind resistance out here.
Graham. Although in the long pulls, they've had difficulty setting up their defense.
Oh, that's a good point.
In the middle now. The Whitecaps, near side, Marquette. Cricket lays it ahead. Foster. Love those cleats. Malachek with the fake. Forehand and backside. Now it comes to Nixon and in for the score. And that was Marquette, I believe, on the receiving end. Was it? Indeed it was.
Well, I don't know what's going on here with Philly. They're looking around. They give Nixon the backhand, and then Marquette just cuts wide open to the backhand side at the short cone. So I'm not sure what the force was with that. I mean, is it? Yeah, I don't know. He just got caught off there. Colton can't track down Marquette. Marquette's got quick feet, so he gets to the spot, beats him to the spot there. And Boston's sticking around here. They will not go down quietly.
Hoping for one of those miscues from the Spinners. Spinners have played pretty cleanly today. You mentioned that as being a key at the top of the broadcast.
That's right, and they've done it so far. They do have 2 miscues available to them before Boston can command the lead, because even if they do turn it over here, they will be receiving the disc if Boston were to score. So the advantage still firmly in Philadelphia's hands right now.
I guess that's a positive way to put it, Tony.
Yeah.
Nicky Hairnet.
You can mess up twice.
That's right.
It's cool.
Glazer into the middle. Rainwater. Had a fine game today. He's played possess. Hairnet. Katzenbach. Back to Nicky. There's that deep dump you're talking about again, where they go back about 10 yards.
Yeah. I mean, it's maintaining possession's cool, but look how far Hairnet sets up back there.
Take Rainwater. Trey. Katzenbach takes a look. A little forehand flick to Brandolph. He's played cleanly, as we mentioned a few times today. Back to Hairnet. Quickly to Glazer. Sideline Katzenbach. The veterans right now taking control.
This is great for Philly. They don't need to do anything more than just possess this disc.
Little short passes. Rainwater breaks free. Looks. Don't force it. Hairnet taking some time off the clock, too.
Yeah, take as much time as you can.
Hairnet zings one. Nice catch by Brandolph. Boy, I tell you, you mentioned he'd been playing a whale of a game. That was a heck of a catch.
We got some discussion here. The Boston guys are up in arms there, talking to the referees. Cooper goes right to him. Brandolph celebrating the score. They are not happy with the refs. I don't know what the beef is here.
That he was out of the end zone. I think he was not in myself. I would agree with that.
There's 2. The cones are a little bit funky here as they go across different lines here. So tough to tell there. There's 2 lines you see there, and one of them's in and one of them's out. Always lower than you.
Heck of a catch by Brandolph at any rate.
That has it in for me.
So there you go. Philadelphia up by 2, 24-22, enjoying their largest lead. Now really a lot of pressure on the Whitecaps to be very clean with this possession here.
Well, they've had the pressure on them all game, all second half, I should say. Once, the opening second half was a break and turn for Philadelphia and an overthrow. So basically the pressure's been on since then. And they've been holding, but they just haven't gotten the defensive look that they need.
Another check like in those sunglasses he's got on there. Up to Taylor. Oh, that nearly drifted away.
Wade-borne sunglasses, I would presume, from last year's sponsorship.
Foster, near side.
The junk D from Philadelphia crumbles to a man.
Melechek in the Nixon makes the catch. Toe drag along the sideline.
Nixon is racking him up right now. He's just smooth, is the best way to put it. Smooth. Great defender on him, too. Frederick Braz is on him, so great matchup there, and Nixon just outruns him. Just gets to the spot. He really times that nicely. Once again, Boston holds. Been the story of the second half here. Offense has been dictating this game. Very clean game. Not a lot of mistakes. A mistake will cost you.
That's 7 goals now unofficially for Mr. Nixon today.
Wow. You know what the Harvard team's called, Don? Red Line.
The Red Line?
And the Red Line.
I can
Harvard
figure that.
Line.
Yeah, I should have known that one. Great atmosphere continues here today, and the hometown fans might enjoy a victory by the Spinners. Their only win at home versus the Rumble. Boston yet to win on the road here in 2014. I don't know what that all means in the long run when playoff time comes around, but.
Well, Coach Rosenthal, focusing on the D-line, is going to have to dial something up now. It's do or die time for the Boston D.
Rebholz.
Ooh, Hatchet almost got it.
Yes, indeed. This is Glazer to control it.
Ooh, another bid there.
Katzenbach. Glazer.
Well, he's sending the big bodies out there, but they're not getting to the disc yet.
Nicky Hairnet's played a great game today, too. A little bit under the radar. Brandolph has been spectacular, and he'll find Mr. Glazer. I like his celebration. Huh? What do you call that when you just kind of punch it to the turf like that?
Punch spike.
Punch spike.
Punch bowl. spike ball.
First goal, Randolph on the assist.
Well, once the two bids came flying through there, we saw him send the horses out there. Hatch come flying through on one. Reinhardt on another one. Both good attempts there. Neither one could quite get to it. And at that point, you almost want to let him score quickly. Almost, it's tough. Time's a factor now for Boston. They got to get D's and they got to get them fast. And without that, they're nowhere. So
David Randolph over the last couple of points, a goal and assist for the Philadelphia Spinners. So he's been effective.
Oh, terrible pull here.
Yeah.
Sails out of bounds, stops the clock. Boston gets the disc at half field. Certainly not ideal.
We'll see the Whitecaps again next week, I believe, when they take on the Rumble at Hormel Stadium in Medford.
Malachek, you saw him, what looked like a timeout call. That's a centering call. So that means he's taking the disc in the center of the field, and I'll check it in there.
He was mirrored by Mr. Pama.
Ref calling him back to where the disc went out of bounds. And now we'll start it up. Looking for a quick score.
Malachek will haul it down. It's up for grabs. It's going to be caught there by Foster on the run. That was a beautiful throw.
Now, I mean, you can see that. I mean, you got to have a guy back there. Schull can't play under on that. He's got to be back in the end zone. Malachek gets the disc at half field. He's got the range. They need to score quickly. Schull can't be playing sort of on the under. Someone's got to be behind him on that one. So a mistake on Philadelphia's part on the defense, and Boston scores quickly.
Good huck on the backhand side. Surprised they didn't try to take that throw away from him too, right?
That's another good point. Play him straight up. Don't play no huck. When you can play four side, and that's going to give up a huck opportunity. You play straight up on a guy, and he's going to have to pivot a lot harder to get it off. He could still maybe get it off, but he might not get the proper angle on it to have an easy throw like that. That's a throw and catch right there. That's a pitch and putt. Call that golf.
A day in the park.
A day in the park.
A little Chicago blaring in the background. You know the song I'm talking about. Hertzberger will send it down. Told you I was older than you.
4th of July? You mean that one?
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah. I like that song, too. This
All
is
right.
here, Net.
Well, again, all game it's been about these guys. Holding on offense now that they've had the lead. Something Philly hasn't seen much this season, but they've done well with it so far.
90 seconds remaining. That got a little high over there. Nice catch by Damiano. He's had a good game today. Spinners taking their time, matriculating up the field. This is Glazer. If they play it cleanly, it's a great strategy.
Right, and if they don't, they're giving up a lot of yards.
Oh, rainwater. Here, Net. Damiano far side. Trey Katzen back. They feel comfortable when Trey has disc in hand.
He's getting up high on him every time, though. Every time it's gotten up high on Trey, so last time out here for Philadelphia. Well, here's the game, folks. It's 25-24. You don't want to turn this disc over. Everything is in your advantage if you're Philadelphia. What do you do?
You know, that timeout, it's interesting they call it because you look at the Whitecaps, they're all bent over trying to gasp for air.
Yeah.
Even the younger guys, Eric Stevens on his hips or on his hands and knees.
Well, they had a long trip down here like you were talking about, Don. 2 o'clock game. So what time do they sail down on the bus? 7, 8 a.m. they left
absolutely.
probably?
Yeah, it's a couple hours longer than my ride, and I left at 9.
Yeah, so, and then you want to get here a little early, so 6, 7 a.m. they probably sailed
absolutely. I'm saying 5:30.
So everything lining up now for Philadelphia in front of their home fans here. 50 more seconds, and they clinch a win over the Boston Whitecaps, who might fall to 3-3 should that happen and really be mired in the mix of it all.
How often do you see all the players on the field in the circle during a timeout like that?
Actually, quite often. Sometimes you'll see the team go out there and the D-line will talk and the O-line will talk. And also you'll block the other teams from hearing the cross conversation, so you'll line up between where the other huddles are. So
a human wall.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just good team camaraderie. You don't want anybody slacking on the bench. You want to show that you're all in it.
Well, out of the timeout, this crucial possession continues for the Spinners, up 25-24 over Boston with under a minute remaining. They'll come out and they'll double team here, Ned. I know we had a couple of comments on the YouTube And they mentioned, I didn't know you could double team in professional.
Yeah, MLU you can double team. You don't see it in the fall USAU. Double teams are illegal, but here MLU and AUDL, I believe, both legal.
Hairnet after the slight infraction. Now they'll reverse it back to Esser again. That's back a good 20 yards. Cats him back. Hairnet. They continue to travel backward. Now up to Brandolph. They double team him. Good feed there to Katzen back. Brandolph into the middle of Glazer. Near side Shull.
Oh, they got the break.
And Brandolph will catch it.
That should be your ball game, folks. I think Philadelphia's going to pull this one out. It would take a miracle from Boston to be able to climb out of this hole. They're down 2 breaks still, and not a lot of time left as Brandolph continues to have a stellar second half here. In fact, an entire game, and Glazer finds them on the give and go.
Maybe not the flashiest, but you know what? He might be the hero of today's game the way he's played. He's hustled and
just playing smart. The whole team's played very within themselves, very composed, not trying to do too much, not trying to send these discs too long. A couple big hits from here. He can't just play ball control the whole time and expect to win, and that's what Philly's known for. So the Hucks from here and that have set up this under offense that they've been able to do. And once they've established the lead, then they can pull it down and not have to send the jack. The play call from here and that to send it deep to Trey was huge. I love that call at the second half there.
So the Whitecaps, with only seconds remaining, they need 2 quick scores. Let's see what they do here. Up ahead it comes. That's Nixon making a running catch. He'll take a look. Haven't seen him throw it too much. He catches it all the time. Marquette. The Farnsworth, the nice edge in.
Well, they call that a crick shot in our traditional language. Uh-oh, we have something going on over here. So nice little forehand. Right away, Marquette knows that the time is a factor, so they move it quickly. He gets the shot. He gets the opportunity there. He laces in a little bladey forehand there, just over the reach of Art Scholl there to Farnsworth for the score. So they're only down 1, but they're down 2 breaks now. But 16 seconds, so they put all their eggs in one basket. They got to get a D and a score, tie this game up now, try to send it to overtime.
Farnsworth playing with a taped-up left wrist, it looks like. So he's playing a little distressed today. Farnsworth with a big catch. That's his hairnet. Glazer for the Spinners. Seconds away from a victory over Boston. It would be their first in the MLU. They have never beaten the Whitecaps, and they're trying to do it at home here at St. Joseph's University at Sweeney Field.
So there's the hammer pull, send out of bounds. Hairnet will pick it up. Here's a big crush there as they try to stop any progress. Oh, my God, a turnover.
It was Brandolph. It was knocked out of his hand. Hatchett was in the vicinity to disrupt the flow. They got a chance here. Down by 1. Time ticking down. Remember, they mismanaged some time at the end of the first half there, Tony, where they didn't pitch it into the end zone for a score when you talk about the Whitecaps.
Wow. Well, a timeout here now, and now the management is a factor. There's an armband being applied to Marquette. I'm not sure what happened there.
He got into a bit of collision with rainwater.
So anyway, wow, things are getting interesting now, that's for sure. 3 seconds are on the clock. They'll probably check that to make sure that's the right amount of time there. As a real quick turnover there. Oh, man. Philly just makes it interesting, don't they?
They certainly do.
They just can't close out a game quite.
Wow.
So now Boston will put their top guys out here. They don't even need to shoot this into the end zone now. They can work this in. Well, they got one shot. They have a pass and then a throw. But such a short field here. All they need is a misdirection, then a hammer. They might even start with the disc in Marquette's hands, which is basically, I mean, that's it doesn't matter where you cut on the field. That's a goal opportunity for Marquette with 3 seconds there. 5, they put it back to 5.
Yep, they did. They put 2 seconds on the clock.
I would put a big body on Marquette is what I would do. Look at it looks like Marquette's going to pick up the disc. I would get some hands in his face.
Yeah, they got Lindsay and Shull and Rainwater drifting into the end zone. Nixon's there.
This is descended into overtime. So they're sending everyone into the end zone. They're giving Marquette the disc. He's got all those. This is smart. Katzenbach is the perfect man to guard him, to try to get a hand in his face. And let's see what Marquette's going to do. This is the chance to tie the game here.
Trying to take away that forehand throw right now. And there's the hammer. It's up for grabs. Knocked around. And Rainwater knocked it down. Looking for the call was Teddy Brower-Jars. He's not going to get it. And the Spinners are going to win it 26-25.
Woo! Well, that was quite an ending. Rainwater goes up there. Brower-Jars goes to it. The hammer is a little short there. Not enough muscle on it. Nice play design as he had two men there. Nixon was over there. And Rainwater is able to disrupt the play, and the Spinners will pull it out.
See that play one more time. Well, we won't. We'll see the handshakes, and the Spinners certainly looking much more confident than a week ago when they traveled to Boston and were pummeled rather rudely by the home team. What a difference a week makes, Tony.
Well, and home field advantage holds true yet again here in the MLU. I believe it was 14-2 before this weekend. And then New York got crushed, and Seattle won in Portland. So an even weekend overall, 2-2. Let's look at this final play here as Marquette there. We know he's got the upside-down shots. He winds up, rips it down. Oh, my God. Put that graphic on, please. Oh! Kill the graphic, somebody.
There you go.
Rainwater's shaking his hand. No,
Yeah.
didn't touch him. It's clean. Brower-Jars says otherwise. And that's your game.
All right, we're going to keep it right here. We're going to take a break. We're going to keep it right here and talk to one of the players of the games down below. We'll take a break first. That's what we're going to do. There you see it on the scoreboard. It was actually Philadelphia winning by the score of 26.
Chris Mazer and the Rumble look to continue their playoff push with a win against Boston. But Jeff Graham and the Whitecaps won't give up easily as they try and avenge their Week 4 loss. May 24th at 7 p.m. Come out and bring the family when Mark Burton leads his Stags across the border to take on longtime rival Morgan Hibbert and the Nighthawks. Portland at Vancouver, May 24th, 7 p.m.
All right, back here at Sweeney Field. What a finish to this one. A last chance opportunity for Boston. It comes up empty. Philadelphia winning, Tony, by the score 26-25 in a dazzling game here today. That was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. We'll take a look at that final play. But first we'll go down to our player of the game, David Randolph, for being all around the disc and making a lot of plays today.
Yeah, with charisma. Take it away, Charisma.
I'm back here with David. How do you feel? You must feel incredible. That was such an amazing play. Walk us through that last play that essentially won the game for the Spinners.
Well, just determination really did it all. We practice those situations a lot, end of quarters, up one, down one. And to be honest, I was a little nervous after I dropped the disc right there. But our motto all season long was we got each other's backs. And obviously my teammates had my back there. So all the thanks to them.
Yeah, persistence definitely sealed the deal. And because this was such a huge game for you, can you kind of tell us what this means for the Spinners for the rest of your season?
Well, this is the first time we really played all 40 minutes. And to come out with a win is big, but to come out with a game that we played like a complete game, that's big for us. I mean, that's how we should be able to play every single game. And to be able to do it against possibly the best team in the league, I mean, it just gives us the confidence we need to go on and win the rest of the season. So.
Absolutely. You guys did an amazing job. Congratulations. Perfect day for a game. The Spinners came up winners, and I believe they're headed to Dave & Buster's now to celebrate, and I just might join them. Thanks, guys. I'll send it back up to you.
All right, Charisma McElwain down below doing great work for us today with a very, very pleased David Brandoff. Really on that one mistake. It was late when he dropped it, but a couple of goals, throw in a few assists, some great handles.
Let's look at this play here. Here's the big hammer, and ooh, boy, a little body there on Broward Jarvis. Rainwater looks like he's with him there. Oh, I don't know. Broward Jarvis has a complaint there. I don't know. He still could have caught that, but he felt a little body from Rainwater. No call. It's okay to not call that. I don't know. It's a little 50-50 there. And the game goes to Philadelphia.
Yeah, they certainly got some great performances from a whole slew of players. Boston, nitty and gritty today. Hanging in. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Rainwater gets us started.
Well, Deviney gets us started. He was the man pretty big all day for us. He would have been our player of the game as well, but Brandoff made a lot of plays there until that unfortunate one at the end there. Here's going to be a nice Scholl goes quick as he rises up for it. Rainwater puts this one, and the connection is made to Esser in the end zone from Millersville. And the flip.
You got to love it. Spinners feeling like they're on top of their game right now after the big win here today.
Nice hammer in rhythm there to Deviney. Scored five. Would have got 5 goals for him today.
Yeah, Esser really showed his versatility. Is that big play to catch him back you were talking about?
Yeah, that's right. That's the big loft from Huronet to really kind of open up the field possession and really just have a big seal there. Rainwater goes up big right there. I like when he gets up with that. Brandoff there with a layout. I tried to call him out, but I think he was in on that one. Scholl again. There's Brandoff just finding space, just being around. And he was right, Don. It's a total team effort there from Philadelphia. They really put it all together right there.
51 points between the two teams. Philadelphia won better at 26-25. What's it do to the Eastern Division standings? Makes it interesting as DC now at 5-1. But really, when you look at it, Whitecaps come back to the pack now. They're 2 games off the first place pace and only 1 game ahead now.
Correct. Whitecaps come back down, and Philadelphia puts himself in position for the playoffs as everyone else. 2-4 Rumble, 2-4 Spinners, and 3-3 Whitecaps. So that second position now, DC comfortably out ahead there. And it's a fight. It's a battle. We got some good games coming up.
Yeah, who's going to be the second place finisher will be interesting to see. And, of course, next week we're in Boston, right? Rumble and the Whitecaps on a Saturday.
Yeah,
Hormel
Stadium.
Yeah,
I'm
looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Take it down to Kelly's Roast Beef after that.
Yeah, for real?
Yeah. You want to do that?
Sure.
You like lobster?
Why would a roast beef place have lobster? I'm a
little
long
skeptical.
Story. Okay,
You'll
all right.
find out
I'll
when we
trust
get
you.
there.
I don't know why, but I'll trust you.
All right, great job by the crew. There you see the schedule for next week on Saturday on the West Coast, 7 p.m. Stags and the Nighthawks. That's a big battle. And New York.
That's huge.
Yes, the Rumble and the Whitecaps. We'll have that one on the East Coast here at 7 p.m. All right, that's a great wrap for all, I think, the entire production team behind the scenes. For Tony Leonato and Chris
Greg
down below,
and Scott
Greg
and Dave
and the
and
list
Matt
goes
Gray,
on and on and on and on. You're going to leave someone out. You're going to leave someone out. They're going to feel
Dana's
bad.
right here on the camera.
Keep on going. Why don't you say goodbye to Dizzy, too?
Doc is here in the booth. What's really Dizzy, Charisma, who called out spinners are winners. You missed that
That's
one.
right. No, I did miss
All
that.
credit
I
to
did
Charisma.
miss that. All right, 26-25 your final. Goodbye, everybody.